That was good. That was good, like coffee should. Welcome to the Centralist, everyone. I hope everyone's having a crazy Friday night. There's nothing quite like a Friday. Getting off work, you know you're off for the weekend. You're like, oh yeah, what kind of crap can I get into? Now I know some of you wimpy ones are going to stay at home and watch some TV and hang out and stuff like that, and that's all fine. I'm all for that too sometimes. But a lot of y'all, because it's summertime, are going to hit the road. Even with gas prices ranging from $4 to $7, you crazy bastards are going to still get out there and hit the road. So all I'm asking is to be safe. Watch out for other drivers. I mean, I'm tired of driving with you COVID, drugged over, hung over people driving that just got loose and are driving like maniacs. Okay, pay attention. Remember, there's more than you on the interstate. Well, Michael, how you doing tonight? Sorry, I had to bitch him out. I'm sorry. Last couple of days, it's been like, let's play Dodge the automobile. And before anybody asks, yes, I'm not wearing a tie. It's one of
I
those days.
stay in, man. So I don't. I
So
don't mess
wait,
with
well,
traffic.
yeah, well, Michael's got before we get started, Michael's got a new show to announce. It's coming
I
on
go
Saturday,
out
right?
once a week. Not
Mm.
me. We have a new show on the network.
Oh, that's true, huh? I keep forgetting. We got all these different shows coming up. They all get jumbled up to me, by the way, guys. Hey, there's a lot of shows on the network. There's a lot of
We
hosts.
have a lot of
Matter
new
of
shows
fact,
on the network. We have
yeah,
that
there is, and there's two
girl.
more coming on. Yeah, we got two more coming on. Well, Crappie's coming on, and then we just had one coming on. What's her name? Nicole Annette. Yeah, she's on now with Guiding Echoes. We got another one coming on besides that. And don't ask me to host names because I don't know right now. Come back in 2 weeks and ask me, and I'll tell you what everybody's names are.
She's cool though. Her show's good.
Yeah,
And then
sure. She got a
Saturday
good
night
show.
is this crazy show, Crappy the Clown, Crappy Hour, I believe it's called, from 10 to midnight every Saturday now. So that's music, that's live calls, that's going to be all kinds of interactive. So
Come
we're
check it out.
going in a new direction
And remember,
or a
any
good direction.
moans, groans, or bitches sent to Michelle DeRoche. I'm just saying ahead of time.
Yep, she's up
It's
on the third
Michelle's
floor
department.
in case you're looking for her.
It is Michelle's department. I'm looking forward to it. It's always nice to see new stuff coming up on the shows, and we need more. We need to get more people involved. We need a couple more male hosts too, because I noticed I was doing a count the other day. The station is female heavy. It's not its first time being female heavy, but it is female heavy right now.
We need
If y'all
more.
don't know what that means, ladies and gentlemen, it means we have more female hosts than males by about 3, I think, right now. We're outnumbered,
Well, that's
men. Be
good.
careful.
Some of them are
Yeah.
arguable,
Well, I'm not even
but
going there. We'll
I'll
just
go
leave
with
that
that.
alone. We'll leave that
I'll go with
alone.
that. Man.
Yeah, some of them are arguable. Um, Before we get into news, guys, we
Well,
got a
going
lot of
from
news
Canada,
across.
really. I don't think any
Yeah,
of them are for the U.S. Maybe one or
yeah.
two, right? Or like
There's some
Pennsylvania.
scary people around. But before we get into news, guys and girls, remember there's a lot going on. And I just wanted to say, rest in peace to Ivanka Trump. I know she passed. It was weird because it sounded like it was not an accident. And then it was an accident. So I'm a little bit confused. Knowing before anybody starts, Donald Trump was nowhere to be blamed for this. And I can't believe the media is not out there blaming for it too. But she fell, and it was blunt trauma that killed her. And it
What
was
did I
fairly.
say last week? When you find somebody at the bottom of the stairs,
Yes, I know.
it's you know what? It's
It's
anybody's
fishy.
game.
I have to agree with
You
Mike on
know,
this. It's fishy.
I don't. I like my conspiracies, man. I don't entirely
Who's
believe
well?
that she didn't
Who's
have a helping hand going down those stairs.
who's were her kids?
I think it
I'll
was
have to
probably
check
the
up.
maid. Imagine taking
The
that
maid.
kind of abuse for so long, and when people are in cognitive decline, they get older like that. They get nastier. You look at Joe Biden. I mean, he's not even there anymore. Even his own
Yeah.
party abandoned. Imagine being him, like, because then the media people are like, asking him, how come his party's not behind him? He's like, oh, they are. They want me to run again. Now he's got COVID-19, and they're all like on the surface saying, I hope he gets better, but you can actually feel that they're not thinking.
Yeah. They don't hope he gets better. They hope he croaks over and they don't have to let him run in 2024. And I don't care what they say. Every Democrat I talk to, every friend of mine says the same thing. They don't want Joe Biden to run again. For me, I hope he runs. I'm not going to lie. No, I'm not going to vote for him if anybody. I seen that pop up on my screen, but I'm not going to vote for him. But I hope he runs. I want him to run. I want him to run and run hard, out back in his basement just like he did last time. Michael and I can go to his town hall meetings and work press for him.
Well,
Always say
as these
one.
Democrats want to get rid of him, and they have cackling Kamala as the backup plan. There's no nothing there. She doesn't have any winnability.
Well,
So they're actually in a real dilemma.
well, they are
Those
because
are
remember
really
last week we went through their top 10 picks. Kamala was 10th, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Biden was still number one, even with all the hate he's getting. He was still their best chance of winning. AOC was third. By the way, y'all know AOC went to jail, right? With along with a few other people from the House and the Senate. Yes,
Can you imagine
uh,
if she won as president?
yes. Oh my God, I'd move. She would make Trudeau look good. Come on, Mister Pink Shorts himself, he would look good. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, just check into Justin Trudeau. You know what I'm talking
It's not going to
about.
happen, but it's just kind of funny to
Well,
think about.
well, I was just surprised when so they would. So I love how this works. So she didn't get enough press. Okay, AOC did not get enough
Mhm.
press for getting arrested on July 19th for protesting in front of the Supreme Court. So, so somebody started a fictitious post saying, "Oh no, it was fake. She didn't really go to jail." So now her people have to come out and explain that she did go to jail. People, nobody cares. And if you're one of AOC's people and you're listening tonight, nobody cares. What did Michael do? Like we got to let Ken Michael play with the controls. We got to take the controls away from Michael. I can see it now. I'm at the ban his ass. But
All of a
no, but I mean
sudden you were
that's
gone.
they want AOC. They think she's the chit, man. She'll be 34. She'll be just old enough to run for president. First off, that should be raised to 40. Let's just be honest about it. I don't think you should be able to run for president unless you're 40. I don't think you should be running for the Senate unless you're 40.
These days, because
Really,
young people
because
are very premature.
okay, young people
Like
don't take this the wrong way. And Michael says this all the time. It's called young and dumb, and there's a reason for that because you're young and you're dumb. And you know what? Don't get offended because when I was young, I was dumb. Now, don't get me wrong. If you would have asked me when I was 18 and 19, I knew every blinking thing on the planet. I would argue you down, and I knew everything. Now, at 58, oh, no. I realized I knew Jack Diddley squat, and y'all don't either. I mean, y'all haven't even lived life yet. How do you know what life is about until you at least live the damn thing? And if you haven't lived life for at least 30 years, you haven't lived. I mean, you're still just backshitting, backpedaling, probably
they,
still living with
they
mom
got
and
the
dad.
video game.
Well, y'all know, in case y'all didn't know this, until AOC became a congresswoman, she lived at home with mom and dad. And you
She's
idiots in the
bartending.
Bronx made her a congresswoman, a House representative. I mean, I cannot believe that. Just like, I mean,
Bartender makes a good drink.
I
You
heard
know
she
what?
does other
She's
things.
she's
Yeah.
she's got the fake outrage, man, and she plays it. You can see it in her face, and she's probably practiced it. Probably worked with a coach on how to really flare her nostrils and bang her eyes out and be all this fake outrage. But what does it do? What does she do? Who does she
Well, the
help?
problem is she gets
Nobody in her
busted for her
district.
fake outrage. So it would be different, but it's like, okay, she went down there and they remembered the fence down there, and she got behind the fence, and then we found out it was a parking lot and it was no, no detainees anywhere. I mean, she got busted 3 or 4 times for doing stuff like this because she's a coward.
She looked good though.
Yeah, but she's a coward.
She looked good in that white
That's why I can't
jumpsuit,
believe the
whatever she's
Bronx.
wearing.
I can't believe the Bronx elected a coward. I just have an issue with that, man.
You know
Bronx
what?
people are
That's the
cowards.
left, man. They need to fix their party, or I don't know what's going to happen. It can't sustain. It can't sustain with this BS going on. They're not one of them is rooted in reality. If they are, you don't hear about it. You only hear
Well, I'll
about the
tell you.
freaks.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. A lot of my friends are worried about. They see their party crashing and burning. They want to see something else, but a lot of them are leaving. So this was a good argument. This guy was arguing with me about why Governor Newsom would be a better governor than Governor Sanchez. And I was going on, he's going on, and I said, dude, I got one thing for you before you go any further. I said, this is what Sanchez is going to use. He's going to tell Newsom, well, if that's you're so much better of a governor, why have 2 million of your citizens moved from your state to my state in the last 2 years? Ooh, yeah, you burned. You can't even argue with it. Plus, he just recently gave all the families in his household, all the families with kids in his household, $450 per kid, and he made the pet Fed pay for it. I mean, come on,
What if
he's
you
like
don't have
Robin
kids?
Hood, baby. He's like Robin. Plus, his wife's got cancer, and he's still doing all of this shit. And he's not whining about it. He's not
You know
crying about it.
what?
He's not even putting it in the paper.
As someone who has kids, I mean, when you're spending money for gasoline to get somewhere, kids are not. You're still spending money on gasoline to get somewhere.
Yeah,
You,
well,
you shouldn't be
you got kids,
penalized
you're
because
just
you don't
spending
have
money.
kids. I'm tired of that stuff. Well, if you don't have kids, you spend money too. You spend money on happy things that you wouldn't normally spend money on if you had kids. So,
Well,
you know,
because if you got kids, you just that money's going. It's going to their new pair of shoes, their new underwear, their new football, their new dolly, whatever the hell it might
who
be.
told them to go ahead? It's their
New
problem.
braces, shit like that. I mean, that's having kids, man. Now, and wait, in case y'all
Yeah,
didn't
you
notice,
get
they don't go away.
tax deductions. You
Yeah,
get big fat
tax
tax
deductions.
deductions.
Actually, once they get to be a certain age, and no longer tax deduction, and they usually costing you more money because it's bigger ticket items. Um,
You get all the way up to 18. New York.
I wish my governor would give me some money. I mean, come on, I want some money. Jeez,
Although if
I'm an
you're a New
old
York
people. Old people
parent,
should get money.
you're
I mean, give me a
responsible
damn
for the
break here.
kid. You're responsible for them until they're 25 now, medical wise. And if they go out, even if they leave the house, let's say they leave the house and they have a child, the parent's responsible for the payments on those medical costs. How's that?
Yeah, but you can get around that. There's a few ways around, especially down here. We
Yeah,
don't we don't
you don't have kids. What about
we
responsibility,
don't pay
man?
attention to that crap. That the judge will just overrule that and say the parents are too poor to do
Not
it
in
or
New
whatever.
York. Your judges are different. This is New York, buddy.
Yeah, because you
This
got
is
a bunch of
liberal
liberal
land.
free. Well, you know what? Though I hear you judges are changing in New York. They're being moved out. Um,
Yeah,
so they're
leaving.
saying for this next election, for the 2022 election, they're expecting the state to vote almost 50% red and blue. And they're saying for the presidential election, it could actually vote more red than blue. That'll be the first time New York voted conservative. I don't know, like 100 years. And they're saying New York could find itself pulling 40 or 44%. It's dividing, and even the people who are leaving and going to places like Austin and Houston, they're not voting blue anymore. They had enough of it. That they've actually seen their party take the deep dive this time. I mean,
There's nowhere to
Omar.
go.
I
People
mean,
are ready.
when you have like the squad and you're letting them run loose, you first you just got to wonder about the integrity of your party, and then when you watched what happened with like the Jan 6 trials, or with the Russia stuff, you got to look at your party and wonder what the hell's going on. You just got to look at them because none of
They're
this makes
just
any
full of the
sense.
same. It's all fake. It's fake talk. They're all fake outrage, and that's what they do, and that's what I expect out of them. People are burned out. This
Okay,
election season is going to be very different.
Ronnie is writing in from New York, and he said Trump's going to jail. Jan 6 proved that he's guilty. Really?
Trump
The
going
DOJ don't
to
agree with you, and he's a Democrat. That's a problem, isn't it? The problem here is nothing. They didn't prove anything against Trump. The worst that the guy said that, and they were trying to break this up today, saying, "Oh, he didn't take action for 2 hours. It wasn't his job. It was Nancy Pelosi's job. She was in charge of the Capitol
I'm
Police,
not going
and
to
he
defend
offered
Trump
her
on
the
that whole
National
thing.
Guard."
He dropped the ball. He got too crazy. But do I think that he did criminal acts? It depends on how you look at it. But no,
First
it's a
off,
stretch.
let's just stop for a minute. If you think he's the first president to throw something against the wall or to get pissed because he lost an election, then y'all are all morons. Okay, all of y'all are. Most importantly, he offered the National Guard to Nancy Pelosi the day before he would have him deployed that day. She refused him.
I
Also,
didn't
there was
like the
only
fact that
one
they
third of
put
the
some of the
Capitol Police
bus.
that were on duty that was supposed to be on duty, and they knew there was a riot coming, and there was still
Oh yeah, they
no
wanted it.
Capitol Police on
Democrats
duty.
wanted to open the door because they
So
wanted to be able to
and
use
wait,
it
and
in the
you want to
future.
find out what really happened on Jan 6? Wait till after the 2022 election when the Republicans do the real trial. This is just the Democrats blowing shit. Now the Democrats have played everything they can. Now the Republicans will get to
Yeah,
come
but
back in
they're just
November and
wasting
all.
time. They all just waste time. They do a
Yeah,
great
but you
job
got
of
to do it.
wasting
You
time.
got to do it. It's the way it
We have
works.
a crisis in every area, and here
Yeah,
they
well,
are just wasting
and
time.
you know what? The Republicans did good for the
My
last
camera
with
looks
the last
terrible. Is it
president. We'll see
jerky?
what happens.
Do you see
I
my
just
camera
I
being all
just say
jerky?
if you've got to go by recent, if you got to go by recent uh, um, politicians working, the Republicans are kicking the Democrats' ass all over the place.
Let me see what's
Um,
going on with this.
I mean, Trump's economy, Trump's trade, Trump's everything was so much better than Obama's or Biden's put together. It's not even funny. You got to go all the way back to Clinton just to even get a decent president that was a Democrat, and then you got to go far back before that, almost 50 years. And so I don't know. I think I think it's just time for a shift in the parties. The Republican Party is a much younger party now. The Democrats are a much older party. The Republicans come a much more diverse party. The Hispanics are siding with them. You're seeing more and more blacks go there, and it's a younger party. They're really more in touch with what's going on than people
I can
like
see in
Nancy
10 years
Pelosi
time.
and Biden.
I can see in ten
Yeah,
years time you got
it's already here.
a lot of Latin, Latina people, Latin people, Latinos, all that. I think that they'll be Republicans. I mean, they're kind of Republicans and they don't know it. But they're
Oh,
very much the
they're changing
family
fast,
and
man. You're going to
Catholics. I
see
mean, they don't believe in abortion, and they believe
you're
in
going to
having
see a
large, robust
45.
families.
You're going to see 45-55 in 2022, and in 2024 you're going to see the reverse 60-40, 60-40, 60 red, 40 blue, and then by 2028 it'll be almost 80-20.
If the
They've had
Hispanic
it.
community starts
Yeah,
backing
because they've had
Republicans,
it.
I mean,
They've had. They're
they're
mad.
you're
First
going to
off, they're
see the
mad at.
biggest shifts. You'll see the
Well,
biggest shifts in New York, California, and in Chicago. You're
because
going to see all those large populations shift.
like the
Also,
woman who said
Miami.
like the woman said who won in Texas. She said when Trump was president, we had the lowest Hispanic unemployment rate in the history of the United States. Now we don't. And that's what the guy from the NAACP said. He said we had the lowest history of black unemployment in the United States under Trump. That's why you're seeing such a shift because it went away that fast, and everybody's like, "Whoa, it was so good for such a short period of time, just because some other idiot gets in it shouldn't change." But yes, they did. They remember people. What did Biden do his first 10 days in office? He reversed almost every policy that was making this country independent, and then he also lifted a bunch of sanctions on countries that we were keeping under control. And the thing of it is, even he had to admit later on he made a mistake, especially the border stuff. I don't know. You see the Supreme Court stuck with that judge told Biden too bad on immigration, right? 5-4 said nope, sorry.
I think
Yeah.
that a lot of people are on the fact that Joe Biden is a mess. He's a cognitive mess. I mean, everybody's on, even Sky News, which is surprising because they're so liberal. Mainly Sky News Australia, but they're really on it on how he's falling apart. And no one's doing anything about it. So that's a huge issue. I mean, we have a lot of tense things happening. Plus, funding a country for a war. It's it's not good to have somebody who's in decline like that. So you have Putin who's in decline. You got Biden who's in decline. They both have fingers on the nukes. And this is a scary scenario. I mean, anything can happen. Let's just say that in a situation like that, like anything could happen. You know what I mean?
And boy, anything could definitely happen.
But I'm just living my life. We're all gonna die, and survival every day is what we've got. These people, they're not gonna do anything for us, not ever. They just want the vote, they want the money, they don't want to work for it, they don't want to do anything for it. They want to yell and scream and showboat and be actors. But they're not. They're supposed to be representatives, right? And they just can't seem to get out of their own way because they're stuck in the politics. So
Because they're all in the same thing. They're all believing their own press. They believe everything they say is true. They don't, and there's no bipartisan at all anymore. At least Reagan and Clinton had bipartisan. Even Daddy Bush did. But since then, it's been nope, one side or the other side. And as long as we're like that, the country just gets flip flop. It's like being a pancake, man. One day you're cooking on this side, the next day you're cooking on that side. And us people are the ones that pay for it every damn time. And I don't know why we put up with it. I don't know why we don't have term limitations. I don't know why we haven't stopped a lot of this. But we, the people, for some reason, are just okay. Well, it's what it is, Mike. It's never our politician who's causing the trouble. That's what the problem is. If you live in the Bronx and you're looking at AOC, she's your hero, and the rest of the country's going, she's a moron. And 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 same thing with Biden. I mean, it's just it's a pain in the
it's
ass.
it's the image. They're going for the image. She's got the right image to push that
Damn sure.
crowd in the Bronx and Queens there. But she's not doing anything for anybody there. So it's like
No,
that. In fact, it's the opposite. She's getting in the way of commerce. Chasing away Amazon and things like that, and she touts that. She's happy about it. So, doesn't understand about, you have to have the negotiations, and that should have been Cuomo's deal. I mean, she shouldn't have been allowed even to get in there to chase anybody away. That was him, and that was also Cuomo not offering other like solutions. Like for instance, for the Amazon thing, they could have had that up in Syracuse, big wide open area, tons of land, cheap, 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 everything, right? International airport, they could have had it there, but Cuomo was focused on, Long Island City. So, so you have poor leadership. He's gone. She's still in there. She'll be gone at some point as soon as people are tired of it. I think that things are unraveling, and you see people flipping out every day, attacking political candidates with knives and guns and stuff. People are on the brink. What do you
Yeah,
do?
a lot of people are on the brink. No, they are. I mean, you can tell that just by talking with people daily. They're on the brink. Brian, no, actually, we got quite a lot of news, but we're still just getting warmed up. I'm with you on, that's what I was saying about when we opened the show about the driving thing. People are just pissed. They want to be happy, but the country won't let them be. So we finally creep out of COVID. All right, we're going to get out. We're going to travel. We're going to spend some money. Okay, well, now to get a hotel and go somewhere for a weekend, it's 4 times what it was. Do y'all notice, ladies and gentlemen? To go to any hotel and spend a weekend right now and have drinks and dinner and whatever, it's 4 to 5 times what it was on the Trump. So if it was $500 on the Trump, it is now $2,500 for the same weekend. That's insane. I mean, that's absolutely totally insane,
It's crazy. It
and it
really
shouldn't
is
be
because
like
it
that.
makes everything cost more. And of course, price per barrel went down over a month ago, but it takes an exorbitant amount of time to lower gas prices or food prices or anything
Well,
because they want
see,
to steal. They want to steal,
yeah.
steal, steal.
Well, in the South, it's different. And if the gas goes down $1, it goes down a nickel here, and it does that all the time. The next day, it'll go down. But that's because we have local refineries, so it's a little different. We're not paying for a lot of things that other people are paying. So if you're getting gas in a couple of states in the union, it's almost instantaneous for it to drop. But the rest of the country, you're right, it's not like that. It could take up to a month. Places like New York and California could easily take up to a month to see that nickel come down.
And let's
And
say
then that's
the
like,
price
yeah,
is the price is still $4.50 or more a gallon. That's not cheap. You know what I mean? That's still double what it was when Biden got in. So that and they're making a victory lap that gas has went down. It hasn't. People still can't afford to go out. And they won't. Maybe around there, you got the tourist thing and whatever. People staying local. They're not traveling far, number one. So they'll go to local hangouts, the local towns, local hotspots, local cities and do that. But they're semi-local people. Same for New York. They instead of flying somewhere, they'll stay in state, go to the beach, or go up to Lake George in the mountains or something. You know what I mean? So people are spending less. They're going to buy less. They're going to spend less. They're going to focus on the food and the energy needs, and you're going to see the markets go down, down, down because the spending isn't there. There's no stimulation for the market.
yeah, I don't know. We need to see something change soon. I know that because
Yeah,
eventually
Biden,
it'll trickle into
but
the.
that's going to be 2 years. I'm going to say this as a conspiracy theorist. Screw y'all. I think that someone gave him COVID, exposed him. I think they want to get rid of him, and all of a sudden he's got a blazing case of COVID. That's just too
Yeah, I
coinky
know.
too
I
coinky
seen
dinky for
the
me.
I seen the 6 o'clock update on his COVID. They said it was just a mild version. Maybe so. I mean, maybe. I
He
mean,
has
he
a
is
fever
after all
that's
80
soaring.
years old. Well, like
He has a
79.
fever that's soaring. All right, so he just tested. It takes two to 14 days for the symptoms to really come on and kick in, and this is going around people's immune systems. And apparently, if you're vaccinated with this COVID, unless if you've had COVID before, it's bad for you. If you haven't had it before, then you can most likely be okay. You know what I'm saying? But this guy, he's pushing 80. He's they're saying how great he is and whatever. That's like loser talk, famous last words. He's doing great. The doctor, not even a doctor, the epidemiologist had to come out. And who has an epidemiologist come out and make statements for you? Not even his own personal doctor. And the guy's like, well, he had his dinner. I made sure he ate, and I mean, that sound like a guy who was kind of just working, doing his
It's funny
thing.
because remember when Trump got COVID, he was walking around, going places, people were seeing him. Even when he quarantined for those days, he was still being seen doing stuff, and it's just a difference right there. It just shows you the difference in the
Younger
presidents.
and more robust, Trump was.
Yes, and well, but he's supposed to. He was a little overweight, actually a lot overweight, high blood pressure. It should have affected him more. He just
Biden's telling people he's got cancer. And then they rebuked him and they said, well, because he meant that he had cancer. If you say you had cancer, I had cancer is one thing. If you I have cancer, and you have it, that's another thing. You know what I mean?
well, but
So
yeah, but that's not how MD Anderson looks at it. MD Anderson says once you've had cancer, you have cancer for the rest of your life because
sure,
it
I
can
mean a
come
lot of
back at
people
any
say
time.
that, but we're talking about a guy in decline. He's messed
Yeah.
up. So
Well,
and
they're
Dr.
always
Seth,
correcting him.
what's
I
up
mean,
with
they
Kamala
spend.
Harris? Can
Do you,
she ever play it
uh,
straight or be serious about anything? Like I think that she's lost into something. I don't know, man. She's not the same person
well,
that ran.
if
Maybe
something don't
she
happen
is. I
soon,
don't know.
she'll be the one with the nuclear football. Keep that in mind, and be telling
And she'll
Putin what
be
to do
she'll
and
be
what not to do.
cackling all the way through those mushroom clouds.
It's so. I mean, really. I mean, right now, technically, she's in charge right now. In case y'all didn't know that, ladies and gentlemen, technically, Kamala Harris is the first black president in history of the United States. They didn't want. That's the reason they didn't want to do it because they didn't want to say it like that, and so they didn't want to give her the thing. But the president's down for I think it's more than 2 days. It goes, and if anything happens right now, it'll be on her, not on him. So
she's
makes
probably
me
she's
feel
probably
so makes me
buying
feel
a new
so
chair,
good.
getting a new chair for the Oval Office, because his thing's like an old man stink. Gotta get rid of it. Get a new chair, new
It's
desk pad. She's like measuring stuff, putting new artwork in.
it's no, she's probably hiding somewhere crying, thinking, "Oh my God, they're going to assassinate me." It's
Who's gonna assassinate her? Maybe
well, nobody
Nancy
wants her to be
Pelosi.
president. Nobody wants her to
Nan-
be president.
Nancy's
No,
gonna
not
take
on
one
any
of her
side.
5-inch spiked heels and put it through
Oh, so I
the
love
back of her
this.
skull.
So this is like one of my favorite things here. Okay, listen, guys. This is a scenario that everybody's going to love. Okay, so right now Biden's
Mhm.
sick. Something happens. Maybe he steps down. Maybe dies. Maybe he gets over it. Maybe he decides. But anyway, Kamala takes over. Right. So they got Kamala. So Nancy is not going to take orders from Kamala. She will impeach this bitch if she has to because she's only one step away from president. Then, right? So she
Yeah.
gets to become president. But this is the problem for her. If it goes past November and the Republicans win, then whoever's running the House, the majority is the president. So Nancy wouldn't be president. The Republicans would be. They could actually end up with the presidency if they win the House in this election. They could actually end up with it. If Biden goes and something happens to Kamala, or they do, what is it? The 25 when they do what is it called? The vote of no confidence,
Article
they could end up
25.
president. So what
People
happens
talk
if
about it, but they
what
don't ever
happens if
do
it
it.
happens now and Nancy gets in there and then the Republicans take the House? Does she get to stay? See, I don't think that works that way. I don't know how that's
You're
going to work.
describing a political chess match. Unfortunately, in a political chess match, there's a loser, and we have critical problems going on. I was just driving through the local town here the other day, stuck at a traffic light. I was under the bridge, right, a busy rail line, and not passenger either, just all freight. And I'm looking at this bridge, and I took pictures of it, threw it on the internet. I'm like, it's all crumbling. These huge chunks of concrete exposing all the rebar. And there were steps next to me. Also, the whole thing, the wall is crumbling, a retaining wall crumbling. This is just one little slice of our infrastructure in America. That remember Obama said he was going to do the infrastructure, fix it. They even spent $100 million on signs, put them all shovel-ready projects. Remember all that? Nothing got done. Nothing. Do you know that 35% of our bridges in the U.S. are so dangerous? They believe they're dangerous even to cross, but they keep them open because they have to. And 72% of the bridges in the U.S., bridges and tunnels, need repair. So I mean, we need to invest in ourselves and we need to be independent. We need not to focus. The Democrats want globalization. They push for globalization. They want globalization. They want us to rely on the rest of the world for gadgets, for stuff, for oil, for everything, for food. We need to be 100% independent, energy independent, food independent, manufacturing independent, and then we can deal with the rest of the world. But that was Obama's plan, and that's Biden's plan. It's not even his plan. Biden's just brain dead. He's brain dead. You know what I mean? He's like one of those lab rats, that they work. He's like
He's
he's brain
definitely
dead.
he's definitely, I don't know, man. It's definitely
Dude,
he's
look at
definitely.
his son. Look at it. Look at the way the media went after Trump's sons. The nothing burger guy, and whether
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely talk
they're not
about Hunter.
even, but they're not even doing anything wrong. But this guy Hunter, he's I don't know whether he's my hero or he's public enemy number one. Man, I'm trying to decide. You know what I mean? I was
Hunter's got a
almost
lot of
jealous of his
issues.
lifestyle, part of it anyway.
I
I mean,
know,
this
I
dude
know.
gets to roam and it's like that Charlie Sheen book. Everything I want to do is illegal. But Hunter Thompson, actually, it's actually a joke. Charlie Sheen didn't write that book, but Hunter Thompson is that book. Like everything he does is illegal, and he records it. He films it. You know, that's amazing to me. But
Well, I know
how
Hunter's
big was that?
Hunter. See,
Joe? Let me
this
ask
is the
you this:
problem. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You have a high government clearance. You yourself. You're in the military. You've been part of intelligence. You've been part of other stuff like witness to. You know what I mean? Where you take oaths that you're not going to say stuff. So it's a very tall order to be in the CIA or the FBI and make a statement that there is no Hunter laptop. That's Russia propaganda. It doesn't exist. And then lo and behold, all these agencies look like a bunch of buffoons because here's this laptop that's right there. And
And
remember
somebody should have
Seth
went to jail
Rich,
for that.
Seth Rich, the guy who got killed, who worked for Bernie, and then they believe he did the big data dump, for WikiLeaks, right? And then he was offered a job by Hillary, and he rejected it. And 2 weeks later, he was killed outside of his place in D.C. They shot him. Remember, they shot him. They didn't take any jewelry. They didn't take any money. Whatever. They just capital punishment, death. They killed the guy for whatever reason. So but that's the story in itself. Now the local Washington police, the DC police, and the FBI are fighting over who has Seth Rich's laptop because the identity of these people could be on that laptop. It's never gone through. How many years ago was that? How many years ago? I mean, that's when Hillary ran against Trump. So you're talking about 6 years ago. You have a laptop that's so there's no justice, man. I was thinking about it earlier, and I happen to know someone who died in prison. The guy was a real scumbag, and it was the best news I ever heard. And he victimized somebody that I love deeply, and the guy tried to play the mental card. He was schizophrenic and he's on all these drugs, and he was coddled by local government, this liberal Ithaca, coddled by these local politicians and other people that had an axe to grind when it comes to all this. They give the guy Xanax, tons of prescriptions for Xanax, and he would go out and sell it on the street. You know what I mean? And then, they wouldn't do anything about it. Anyway, this guy, I don't know how he died, but he's dead, in jail. That's justice. That's justice, not the 15 years that he got for attempted murder, but that's justice. You're going to die in jail. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that, the people who are wronged, the victims, want justice, and the government's got a very different view of justice, doesn't it? More in the way of fines or time. It's about what they make money off of it. I mean, I don't know. The system's broken. Let's just say that. It's broken, and the justice system works part of the time, but not all the time. And you should have your justice sooner, better, faster, and get these criminals off the street so they're not repeat offenders. Now we're seeing these criminals in these cities that are repeat offenders, and they're just out there killing everybody, doing this, knifing people, stabbing good people who have worked hard and helped their community. Knife in the chest, you're dead because of some guy who's schizophrenic and he's not locked up in a facility.
So
Instead, he's
so
roaming the streets.
well, no, I don't, because the sicko should be locked up. Personally, I got to think about how much money we waste on jail things. I understand you have to have appeals and all of that, but there comes a time, we're going to put you in jail for 50 years. We're paying for that. And if you've done a crime that you earned 50 or more years, you don't need to be alive anyway. I mean, really, I frankly, some people say, "Oh, you're letting them off easy." Yeah, you might be letting them off easy, but you're also letting us off easy, because
I
when
have
you
a
start
plan,
adding
Joe.
up how much money we spend, it's
You
ridiculous. Put them to
you
work.
know that Angley always has a plan.
Oh
My
no.
plan for prisons is outsourcing. I want to outsource to places like Iran or Iraq. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you buy prison
Maybe one of them
space in their
Turkish prisons.
prisons.
Yeah.
Hey,
You know
man,
what?
you
When
buy
we had
prison
on,
space in their
when we,
prisons, or you have these prison, these prison barges, right, in the middle of the ocean. What are they going to do? They're going to jump ship. They're going to jump ship and swim for it. Good luck, dude.
well,
You
no,
don't even have
that's
to lock them
interesting
up.
because Johnny Light, John Gotti's hitman, he was on the show with. He's been actually been on the network a couple of times. He talked about that because he did some time in a Turkish prison and a Brazilian prison, and he said American prison like a fucking cakewalk after you go to one of these prisons.
I
He
think
said the
if one of
Turkish
these
prison
hard
was the
timers
worst.
knew that they were going to go and be outsourced to some country that didn't have the same vested interest in human rights, maybe they're going to think twice before committing those crimes.
Yeah,
But I mean, we can run the
but you got to
facilities in
remember,
those
one third
countries.
everybody in jail is
We can
innocent.
hire the
So
guards there. You know how much we'll save by doing that? And the insurance structure is completely different a privatized offshore prison. I think you and I should go into business, man.
well, you see, you can't really do that though until we figure out how to really tell who's breaking it. Because one third of everybody in jail is innocent. So we got to figure out a
No, I'm
better
not
way of
going
doing it.
by
But
that. I'm going by if you're cooling your heels in jail, you're going to end up in one of our prisons offshore. That's it.
that could be interesting. But anyway, let's get back to Biden for a little while. So, couple of interesting things coming up recently. First off, majority of voters say president's aware of Hunter's overseas dealings. They do not believe him when he says, "Oh, I didn't know the country." So that's going to hurt him if he's got to go up somebody like Trump or DeSantis. That'll hurt him on a head to head because the country doesn't believe him. That's a New York Post poll, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So they're just letting y'all know that the country's not falling for it now. The poor feds have got themselves in a corner. So, feds on verge of charging Hunter Biden for crimes. This is what's so interesting about this. So, if you or I or Michael or anybody was to look at Hunter Biden's laptop right now, we would be put in jail. Do y'all know that? That's a fact. FBI's already said that. If one of us was to look at it, we would go to jail. So the question is, why isn't he in jail? If you or I would go to jail for just looking at it, why is he not already in jail? Because he's the father of a president, the son of a president. See, that's another thing.
I want to know
Biden
who
may
the
end up
big guy
impeached.
is. We know who
You
the
know, this
big
guy.
guy is, though.
If everything comes out that they say is on that laptop, Biden may end up impeached, and the Democrats may help to impeach him because they want to get rid of him. And right now, that's their only option is if the
They
Republicans
would never.
impeach.
You know that they would never,
Oh, I
never.
don't
They would
know.
bump him
I
off.
think
They
Munchin
would
and
bump him
Gene.
off. Come on,
If
Pelosi. She's pretty shrewd. She's Italian.
it ain't up
Should
to
bump that
Pelosi. The
guy off.
Democrats, the House, they're going to win the House probably in a super majority. So they'll have the votes to impeach him in the House. That's not an issue. It's going to be
You know,
the Senate where
listening
the
to
issue.
Biden cry about the whole Khashoggi thing, right? Like, this sheikh had somebody killed, and I can't believe it. And he's like whinging on. How many people in the U.S. has killed every year, Joe? I mean,
I
what's a
know.
round number for us?
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
it's not zero. It's not zero. We kill a lot of people. We kill people with drones. We kill people with the CIA. We kill all kinds of, black projects. We knock people off all the time and toe tag them, right? That's how America has done business. That's what we do. So when they act all Mr. Innocent, whatever, I don't care what this sheikh did. It's none of our business. It's none of our business. Our business is helping the Saudis fight Iran because Iran's nuclear Iran can't happen. Israel, is in it. Saudis in it. Israel got together with the Saudis. That's like cats and dogs living together, man. You know what I mean? Which happens. I'm not gonna say it doesn't.
It's like cats and dogs living together. Well, it's like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris living together.
And I want to be Arab, Joe. I'm striving to be
Oh,
Arab.
wait, now,
I
wait.
want to walk around with a sheet and have like a Lamborghini and have a palace. I don't want to be able to smack my hands like that and have like 40 women come out. We're going to wash my feet. What's wrong with that?
Uh-oh. So, a couple of things. Before, we got to go back and talk about this election upcoming, but the presidential. But wait a second. Before we do that, I got to check this story somebody sent me. AOC gets caught not paying taxes. Oh, shit. That gets you thrown out of Congress.
Again?
Man, that gets you tossed, man. If it's federal taxes, matter of fact, if you're not up to date on your federal taxes, you cannot serve in the House or the Senate. Man, she better hope it ain't fake. State tax, that's up to the state to deal with.
She'll
If
slide like
if
a super
it's
slide.
New York state tax, that ain't going to be nothing. But they'll have to come down on it because they came down on Trump. If they don't come down on AOC and they come down on Trump, then it's a political thing, and Trump's got a big out. Let's see. Cortez, Democrats who
There is
represent
no
New
right
York
and
and the United
wrong
States
in the
has
party. There is
been
no right and
fined
wrong.
by the
They don't
state.
care
Oh
about
yeah,
right and wrong.
wait, she's been fined by the state of
They
New
just
York
want
for
to.
evading
It's
tax warrants.
what happened?
Yeah, she's for evading tax warrants that were issued against
Oh,
the company she formerly owned 5 years ago. She's in trouble. You can't. You, she better watch it. AOC in the House or not, she may end up in jail because when the Republicans take over, they might start pushing this. Why isn't she arrested yet? Why hasn't she been arrested yet? You served how
and
many
that's all
warrants?
they
Why
talk
hasn't she
about.
been
Nobody
arrested
ever
yet?
does anything though. You know
They
what I mean?
arrest younger ones. They arrest. You got to be like in Nancy Pelosi's position not to get arrested.
You see, this
Other
whole
house
police
other
force,
house people get arrested all the time, so it's not
this whole
uncommon for
police
sure.
force quit because they
Yeah,
put this
seen
woman
that,
in
huh?
charge. Yeah, in North Carolina, they put this
Because
woman in
she's
charge
woke,
who is
people. She's woke.
progressively responsible town manager.
Yeah.
They all quit.
She-
They're
The
done.
police department
There
said we
was a
can't do
hostile
our
work
job, so we
environment.
quit. Yeah, I love that.
Hostile
Well, we
work
can't do our
environment.
job, so we're going to quit. So you think this weapons ban is going to get through? The
But what
Senate's going to
happens
let
if that
it go?
happens in a lot? I mean, that might be some jerkwater town in North Carolina. What happens if that happens in New York City or a real place
It ain't
where
going to
the
happen in New
police
York.
just
Well, it might.
decide
I don't
to be
know.
done?
If it didn't happen under De Blasio in New York, it ain't never happening. It's De Blasio and his
I
kids
think
and
that
all
the
that to the
cops.
streets. Look, man, if it ain't going to happen, then it ain't going
I
to
know
happen. Not
NYPD
going to happen in
officers,
Seattle or
and
Oregon or
they're
somewhere
very
like that.
upset. I know corrections officers in New York State. They're also very upset, and in their minds, they could do something else and make the money. You know.
Yeah, they need to get out and vote. It's funny because first responders are not big voters, and most of them are conservatives. They need to get their ass out there and vote. Um, yeah, you know what, people? It's mighty funny that the people who save your lives and take care of you when shit's going down and hurricanes are hitting and cities are exploding. Yo, you love them then. Oh, but man, when it's not that, you hate them and they're dumb and they're Trumpers and they're all kind of stupid shit. I say to the first responders, next time you're in a city such as one of these ones that hate y'all, you should just let it burn. Say, yep, you know what? We don't want to first respond for y'all. Sorry. You said we're idiots, so we can't find out where it's blowing up at. There comes a time when you have to stop, and see, this thing to me, I'm both ways. I'm torn because I agree with what they did, but then I kind of have this, man, you left your town hanging. You should have waited till
But the
somebody took over.
irresponsible will always rely on the responsible, and now you have this
Yeah,
wave of
no, you're right
irresponsible
about that.
jerk offs. The responsible people are going to do the job because that's what they're made of. The irresponsible ones are going to use that to their advantage, and you see what's going on out there, like Prince Harry. Prince Harry goes to the UN talking about climate change and how we're all going to die, but how did he get there? He got there in a private
See,
jet, right? I,
see,
I mean,
yeah,
so
oh yeah, of course.
you see the
Um,
story about Meghan Markle, who flirted with Rory McIlroy, used him. He's a big golfer. Used him to promote herself, right? Even her boyfriend at the time was getting all on her, like she was having sex with him. Like, how come you're with this guy all the
well,
time?
she's
And
a
you're flirting
freak
with him
anyway.
and doing
Yeah,
things. She
she's
she
she's not.
takes advantage of people. You know what? There's a lot of people that do that, especially a lot
Yeah,
of
but
women.
she's not newsworthy. She's one of them ones who jumped on and preyed on
But
somebody so
Harry
she
is
could talk. Yeah,
newsworthy, and then he's
he
not with the
was
crown. He's
newsworthy. See,
he's
I don't
here.
agree anymore.
He's here, but he's here at the UN talking crap about the U.S. If he doesn't want to be here, then he shouldn't be here. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He doesn't have to
and
be here.
everybody told him the same thing. You're not an American. You don't know what you're talking about. Get the blank out of our country. He's
Right.
irrelevant anymore. So what happened to Harry? Megan killed him. He had a chance of being
But
someone.
Joe, what
She
I'm
destroyed
saying
that.
is that Harry got to speak at the UN because of his privilege, not because he's this master of industry or he's a
No,
leader of the
because he
world.
got royal privilege. You're right.
Because he's got ex-royal privilege, and they let him get in there. And of course, those countries love it when anybody goes up and says something ill about the U.S. Even though we supply all those guys with money, with food, with funds, with this, with that, weapons, whatever the hell they need, But we're the evil ones, right? So I don't know. If you're gonna be evil, be evil. But I don't like Prince Harry. I used to like him when he was drunk, falling in the pools naked in Las Vegas. It was funny as hell. Now he's not funny, and in fact, there's
No,
nothing funny
now he's
about him.
an idiot.
He
It's
is an
you
idiot. He's
know,
got
and
this
this would bother
woman.
you know what bothered me,
She's only
Michael.
with him because
I
of his
liked
power.
Harry. I liked
You
Harry like
know,
for the reasons you did because he was a little crazy, he was a little arrogant, and he didn't have to be the most perfect guy because he wasn't going to be king. So I was happy with him. But then he goes and marries Megan. First off, she's a drama queen long before she ever met Harry.
oh
She was
yeah,
just a drama queen. So she
she's a
wrecked
master
family, wrecked
manipulator.
boyfriends,
She
wrecked lives. She is. I
yeah,
agree with you.
she manipulated men and including this dude, and he's just too thick to see it.
So then she no, well, no, I think he's learning now. So she talks him in to the Netflix deal, just like the Obamas did. Now Netflix has dropped all of them. Obamas are gone, and they're
Because
gone, the
Netflix
Royals are
is
gone.
losing money like crazy.
Yeah,
Because
well, they
nobody
just
wants
lost
to
two
watch.
million
Nobody wants to
subscribers. Why
watch
they
that
lost 2 million
crap.
subscribers? And the thing
They
of
don't
it
want to
is
watch that crap. Who
so
wants to watch it?
so here you got Harry. He started talking about his grandmother. First off, everybody will tell you in the family, you can talk about anybody you want, but grandma's off. The queen is off limits, and she, took up for him a lot. And he went out and they made films about all kind of shit. So they got cut off.
Oprah.
Well,
They want
nobody
Oprah.
really received this stuff the way they thought it was. So the ratings were poor. Nobody really was subscribing. So they dropped him. So here's the UN. I guess this is a pity thing. Invites him to speak about a country he's not even a member. He's not even a citizen of.
I know.
I guess he could be because she's a citizen, so I guess he married her, so technically. But anyway, he's not really a citizen yet, and he's got the nerve to. So let me get this right: you just pissed off everybody in the UK at you. Now you come over to the most powerful country in the world with a bunch of crazy ass rednecks living in it and piss them all off. Really, what are you thinking here? That everybody's going to get behind you and save your ass? No, nobody likes you anymore. And now the rumors all about, that guy is his dad, not that thing. And now the family's talking about having his blood tested. If they find out he's not Philip's kid, they're going to drop him like a hot potato. So I kind of feel for the guy, but I really don't because I think it's his own arrogance, his own ego, and believing his own press that got him where he's at now. He should have listened to his family, should listen to his friends saying, no, dude, what are you doing? So this is how it's
Exactly.
going to be, but he didn't. But anyway, so Michael Moore, right? I love this little thing I got sent.
Yeah.
Michael Moore vows to give up American privilege of being a United States citizen. Get the out, buddy. Take your ugly dumb ass and leave our country. Look, I
So
will
he should
help
give
you
his
move.
house and his money and everything to the poor
Well, he
and
should, and
go
I will help
go
you
do
move your
whatever he
big dumb
does.
ass out of my country. Man, look, you just tell me where you are, and I'll bring a whole group of people to help you move, Michael Moore. Get them out of the country. And wait, this is your president. You crying because your president's fucking things up and you're leaving. Remember, he was leaving
Because
because
these
of Trump.
people are never happy with anything.
But you
They
notice
hate
he didn't leave
themselves.
under Trump, but he's going to
Liberals
leave under Biden.
liberals hate themselves. They suffer from liberal guilt. And that liberal guilt has to do with anything that they deem sufferable by other people. And then they want other people to suffer because of it. Pope says it all the time that we have too much privilege. We have too many, we live too well. We're too safe in America and in Europe. Really? This is the guy who has armed guards and we're too safe? Really? Really?
Hey,
So I'm just tired of these hypocrites, man.
no,
They're a
I'm
bunch
with
of
you on that.
hypocrites.
Michael J, thanks for the article, but because of the way it reads, I can't say it tonight because we're on YouTube and they will sure kick our ass off for using the COVID word. No, I agree. I actually seen the same study, but it's not something we can until they catch up, which they will in a couple of weeks. Then we can talk about it. But right now we're not. If we weren't on there, I'd talk about it because But
You know something,
unfortunately,
man? It's all a fake world. Like I'm reading an article about this woman. She invented buffalo wings and disrupted the entire chicken industry. As poultry pioneer Teresa Bellissimo. Let me tell you, man, it was this guy named Dick Winger who invented buffalo wings in Buffalo, New York, and he had this hot sauce. And then Durkee, a company my mom used to work for, bought that hot sauce. You can still buy the wings hot sauce from them. You know what I mean? But it doesn't fit the narrative that they're trying to be anti-man. They're trying to erase men from inventing things and from doing things. So I mean, Nikolai Tesla was single. He was single. He had no woman. Probably if he was in a relationship, he wouldn't have invented 80% of the stuff that he did. Same Einstein didn't do his best work until he was divorced. So I don't believe in edging people or lying. These new superheroes, they're obese and they're like these these fat teenage girls who are now superheroes. it just is funny to me that this is what they're pushing. This is the junk they push. Or women. You ever see these videos? There's like 90-pound girl taking down 9 guys. Big
Yeah, I know.
300-pound muscled up dudes with martial arts, and as well as I do that they would be dead. You know what I mean? Like the girl
Not
would
how
be
that
gone.
works, ladies.
But it gives people a false sense of like, here are these women, they're all strong, and here are these guys, and they're all weak. In commercials, right now do that. The commercials do that. They make men look like stupid idiots. The only people that you can attack these days are fat males. Not fat females. They're in a
Uh,
whole separate group now. But this is what's being designed for people to see, to shape and mold them and paint these ideas in their heads, but they're not truthful statements. You ever notice how you watch these commercials? Everybody in the commercial is either rich or very well off. They're in these beautiful houses. They have beautiful stuff. You're a contractor. You know what it takes to build these
yeah.
places. Or you got said family in $1 million house. That's not the average swath of America. That's not. But the people who buy those products, they feel a connection. Man, if I buy this peanut butter, it's going to connect me to that high end world. And then now I can feel like that too. It's like a gratification purchase. It's messed up because it's mental. I can see the psychology behind all of it.
Well, I can too. It's. I don't know. Oh man, another 2 Americans dead in the Ukraine. Yeah, thanks for something that just now. Nice. I didn't know that. I'm listening to Mike, and then y'all pop a link in front of my face like that's a little weird, but still, thanks. It's kind of strange. We're gonna get to the
It's like
Ukraine. Whoever, go ahead, Mike.
let me rant about the women who pump up their lips too and do all the
Um,
Botox and all that other
It's
stuff.
funny you bring that up because I told my wife just today. I said it cracks me up that in the old days, Botox was used to enhance body parts, but now they actually use it for getting rid of headaches and all kind of other shit. I was like, so it went from making you beautiful to keeping you alive. I just it's just some kind of weird twist going on there.
I
It's
don't know.
whatever they
I've been
feel.
listening to a lot of '80s music and like also watching '80s movies, right? Because they don't have any cell phones in them and it's not distracting and all that. And I'm looking at these women. These women are really good looking, man. They're really natural, beautiful, good looking women, not done up. It's not people who are supermodels, just good looking people. The women today, they've got. There's a large group of them that goes for that fake look. Everything is fake about them.
Well,
And
that's what they
the
want.
Kardashians kind of spurred that movement, and they have of course they have product lines that are out there, and with the big butts and this, and you have to have that. Is that attractive to you? It's not attractive to me
Well, no,
when I
but
see that.
look. First off, I'm way different than most people anyway. Um, even as a young person, I didn't like girls who wore a lot of makeup. I was very funny about that, and I always met the mother of a girl before I asked her out on a date. It was a
Because you're
thing,
a gentleman, you were raised right. Your
and
mama did a good job. She raised you right.
but it's just you want to learn about people anyway before you're dating somebody. But getting back to what we were talking about before, we're going to go to something else in a minute. But I was thinking about this when we went to service. The girls used to come practice with us. The Marine girls and some of the other girls, and if you were down in Orlando, you got to practice with the girls all the time. But in San Diego, it was a little different. So I still remember this. We're out there one day. This girl's 4 foot nothing. I mean, if she's 5 foot, she's doing good, right? She's maybe 100 pounds. I mean, don't get me wrong. She's rippled out. She's been working out all at boot camp. She's been in boot camp for 10 weeks, and she could kick hard. And she was black belt in 2 different degrees. And I still remember this. She did this spinning back kick, and I was like, oh man, she's gonna hit me. And I remember grabbing her by the leg and stopping her midair because of her weight.
You didn't shoot her.
I was thinking, well, no, it was practice. We were all sparring
Hi,
together,
yeah,
but
boom.
I was thinking that
Hi,
should have been a little
yeah.
bit bigger. That should have been a little bit heavier. Shit, it should have been a little bit heavier. Say like maybe 140 or 150. She might have made contact, but it would
Okay,
have hurt her more
come
than me
at
because
me,
I'd have
girl.
landed on her. Oh Lord!
You know martial arts. I know Glock.
Don't make me shoot you, Michael.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll just ignore Michael. He can't help it. So he got a new toy. He's been
Sorry,
playing
not
with.
sorry.
He's got this new toy. We'll have to keep an eye on him. Hold on, I'm gonna send a link to a friend of mine. I keep yapping and forgetting what I'm doing. It's
That's our live
all
audience,
right.
man. Got to have that live audience.
Man, nothing like a
That's
good
all they
live
do. You know
audience.
what? Even when they have a live audience, most of them aren't clapping most of the time, so they still have the music Like all that stuff is in the can. They say it's in the can. They have like their board for the laughter and all that stuff. So fake. Everything's fake, man. Everything about us is real. What you see is what you get on UP. All right, it's all
which
real,
which
real.
which could be a little bit scary some days, ladies and gents.
It's probably always scary compared to what's out there. I don't know, man. But then again, maybe not. Don Lemon's pretty scary to me.
Well, we're gonna get to some Ukraine stuff, but we're gonna get to some Biden. What is it? Biden, Sanders, Trump polling done by about 10 different polling companies on who's winning right now. Trying it for free? No, thank you. I'm not trying it for free. And what's
Sanders looks
interesting
terrible.
about
Have you
this
seen
is
Sanders lately, man? He looks terrible. My God,
he looks like Mr.
he lost.
Magoo.
He lost a lot of weight. There's something wrong with that dude.
He's Mr.
He's on his
Magoo,
way
man.
out. Man.
Yeah, I've been calling him Mr. Magoo since day one.
Well, he's freaking old, man. He's like 80 something, right? Or
Yeah,
he's actually
well,
younger than
no
mine,
different than
man.
him running. But wait. That's what I wanted to get back to. So Hillary says she's going to run,
That's funny. I hope she does. That'll be funny as hell.
and she says she's going to win because Trump ain't got nothing on her. She done seen all Trump what he got to offer, and and I'm thinking, really?
You mean she hasn't engaged in any illegal, nefarious activities since Trump has been in? I don't believe that.
I'm thinking,
And all you got to do is go back a little bit. You
well,
know what I
first
mean?
off, I'm just stunned that Hillary would even think she's got a shot in any of this. She can't even win
I
the
know.
primary.
Because her ego is out of control. When they get old like that, they go crazy, man. You see
I
a
mean,
lot of these older people now who are just in decline mentally, but their egos are out of control completely.
uh,
I
I,
would love to be there. I would love to be there. I want to be a crazy, egotistical, dirty old man. Everybody laughs and stuff when he's around and whatever. Now they
uh,
stab them in the street and they leave you in the gutter. That's no fun.
that's no fun. Yeah, I agree with you. That doesn't sound like that's a fun project to me either. It's what the hell? I'm gonna have to turn this
You
off.
gotta be eccentric. You have to be eccentric and get away with it. You could be the dirty old man, but you have to be like the transvestite dirty old man. Then people are like, oh, here comes Bill. Yeah, he's
So,
wearing his thigh highs again. Dirty. He's always grabbing my butt. Oh,
uh,
he's so funny.
no, Frankie, you can join us on any of my YouTube. I'm sorry, two of my YouTube pages. I don't have us on UFO Paranormal tonight, but I do have us on the other two, and any of our Facebook pages, or I think we're even on Twitch tonight too, so you can even catch us there.
Twitchy on
Or
Twitch.
you can catch us over the radio. Which let me make sure everything's working fine. Yeah, the radio said that.
So, Joe, Subway restaurants. We're not advertising, of course, for Subway. We would if they gave us money or free food. But Subway restaurants, who was notorious for having a child, what was he? He was in child porn. That guy, who walked X amount of miles to lose weight. And they made him like the big spokesman. Then he got busted with child porno. And then he said, they said he was like molesting young girls and all so that. So Subway's already got a black eye because of that. Then you get people who are just like that Rapino, you know what I mean? Like when I see her, it automatically makes me not want to spend my money. And she's just such a crap bag. There's nothing there for me. So when they hire these people in their commercials, whoever they appeal to, I don't know. But I mean, and I do eat subs, and I would eat if the sub was good, I would eat it anyway. Now they're offering free sandwiches for life for fans who get a foot long tattoo on them. Now I'm wondering if that foot long tattoo has to be a sub. It could be maybe something else that might be looking interesting. What do you think, Joe?
I'm thinking you lost your mind. Is what I'm thinking. It's
I mean, but that's a company that's crazy, right? Get a foot
well, I
long
mean,
sub and
look
and
who was
and
their
you get free
spokesperson
subs.
for a decade, Mr. Pedophile himself. I mean, I wonder if he
But
knew Epstein.
but don't you think that a company like that should stay away from anything that's a foot long or you know maybe make them a little longer, 13 inches. You know what I mean? These go to
Yeah.
13, but it's owned by a doctor's group. They came out for healthy food. I'm not a Subway kind of guy because I like real subs. I'd rather make it myself, and I know the bread, I know the meat,
Eat
and
them
whatever. I'm not
nasty
going to dumb
subs,
down.
man. Them things are nasty. I mean, eat a
Yeah,
po'
they're
boy, eat
nasty.
a damn
Well,
sub.
they got pedophiles advertising.
That's right. That's why they make them even more nasty. Hey,
Well, they're
got-
just even
but
the
anyway,
picture of the sub in the picture, like in the ad, looks it's all crinkly and gross and nasty. So I don't know,
so
but that's just that got me.
one of the questions that just came in asked it's an easy question. If it's Santis versus Newsom, who you voting for? I'm voting for Santis. I can already tell you,
I'm
I'm
not.
voting for
I'm
Santis.
just
I
gonna
ain't
say
voting
I'm
for
not.
Newsom.
I'm not ever voting for Gary Newsom. Not
Yeah,
ever in my life.
Newsom. There's no way. I don't want to get started on Newsom because he's way out in California and he's just an idiot and he shouldn't even be a governor. Um, Look, no. Whoever said that, I don't know. California used to be the most powerful state. It is no longer the most powerful state anymore. I'm sorry to say it's not. It's not even making, it's losing too many people.
A lot of people
Its
moved out.
political power has gone away. Places like Florida and Texas have much more power than California do now. It's just, the country shifts around. It happens.
You mean
New York's lost a
power
lot
in
of
the way
its
of money
power.
or voting or what?
Power just in general, money, politics, the whole nine yards. For you to have power in the United States, you have to control like four of them,
Power
and
is New
Texas and
York.
Florida now.
You got a lot of
Well,
big
yeah,
money
and New
players.
York
You
had
got
a lot. It's lost a
New
lot
York.
though
No,
since the
but New
Twin
York has
Towers.
Wall
It's
Street,
lost a lot.
so there's always going to be
It
power in
does.
Wall Street.
Yeah, you're
But
right. There's always
any
going to
any
be stuff.
city is going to have that kind of power. But for the whole state, I mean, a lot of people have moved out of California. They've depleted their numbers. So
Yeah, well, they're
they're
upside down. They're losing. So they gain about they used to gain 2 million a year. I think right now they're gaining about 1.2, and they're losing somewhere around 2.8 for the last 2 or 3 years. So they've lost about 6 million. There's forecast to lose about 10 more without replacing them. So they're going to find themselves maybe in third place behind Florida and Texas. But Texas is going to probably go blue in the next 20 years. There'll be too many liberals there. Liberals get stupid. They're going to screw up Texas just like they did California, and then it'll flip again down the line. Um, and maybe not because I noticed most of the liberals there are congregating in Houston and in Austin and a little bit in Dallas. So maybe not. Texas is a big place, but still, it's possible because it's also possible that New York and California will flip red. I never you thought it would ever come out of my mouth that New York would even be close, but after the last Trump election, where I seen he pulled 46% in New York, I was impressed. I was like,
don't
well,
forget
shit.
New York State's had had Pataki. He was a Republican governor, and he was in there for a while. And then we also had Giuliani in the city as mayor of New
So
York.
yeah,
So
it's not in New Yorkers are interesting because a lot of times I find New Yorkers vote their conscience instead of their
very
political
middle of
view.
the road New Yorkers are. They
Yeah,
vote their pocket
I mean,
most of
don't
the
get me
time.
wrong, you got a lot of left leaning crazy asses up there, but
Yeah.
still, it's a changing
Because the
scene.
media gives them a voice. The media gives them that
It
voice to
does.
go out
But I think what you're going
and
to see
yell.
in the United States over the next 20 years, regardless of what the liberals do, I think you're seeing a fundamental shift to a different kind of country. We're not, we were moving down this anything goes, no matter what. Let the Chinese and Russians do whatever they want. And the country's pulling back from that. Part of that had to do with Trump, but part of that had to do with the last, we had 8 years of Obama where we watched our country decline in everything, especially in our power around the world. Trump came in, picked it right back up. Biden's already dropped it back down.
Can you
And I think
imagine
the country's just tired of it.
The Democrats are claiming that they're tough on crime.
Oh
How
my
you like
God.
that one? Is
And,
that
and
funny?
how you see that just shows that should show everybody in the country how outright liars they are. I mean, these are the people who were saying for how long now? All of Obama's thing, all of Trump's. Oh, we need to get rid of police departments. We need what was the thing? Let's defund the police departments.
Who
I
burned
cannot
down
tell you.
police stations and did nothing
Yeah, I
about
can't
it and
tell you how many
looted
times I
stores and
heard that.
hurt people, raped people, hurt children during these so-called protests that weren't protests? I mean, think about that.
Well, you know what else they got going on too now? All of these places like where they took over in what was it, Seattle for what was it, 4 or 5 weeks. Even even the Wall Street thing, people are going back and suing now because the states let it happen and the police didn't stop it. Anybody who was hurt or damaged in any way has now going back and started to sue. And it used to be you couldn't go back that far and sue, but now apparently you can. It's gotten to the point I think the country's just tired in general. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat right now because Democrats and Republicans are different than conservatives and liberals, or I should say progressives. It's just a different thing. Real Democrats and real Republicans are closer to the center. They would be more like a centrist, not a centralist, because centralists are a little different. A centrist is just they try to play to the middle. A centralist will always play the middle. A centrist
But
tries
we
to
have a
get close to the
problem,
middle, but
man.
still has to stay on their side of their party.
There's no money for anything. We're still giving billions to the Ukraine, which seems pointless. And at the same time, I mean, look at New York City. They've got to cut hundreds of millions of bucks out of their budget. These schools, just schools alone. Well, they need more money, not less money. But Adams is like, suck it up, and that's the way it's going to be. But and at the same time, they're funding these crazy leftist programs, hiring lawyers for illegal aliens who have committed crimes here in the U.S. and trying to get them off. I mean, like there's an agenda going on that's against the America, hey, I want to be safe type of agenda. They're dumping illegal aliens in the streets of New York City. People, they don't know anybody there. They don't have a job there. They don't have a place to stay. And the city
Say thank
has a
you,
huge
South. We're kicking them out.
and a city that's got a huge homeless population. I mean, and this is like all these cities. I mean, it could be Chicago, it could be LA, it could be Dallas, it could be anywhere.
But
But
it's
this is
funny.
they don't have a plan, and that's the
Well,
thing.
they don't. But this is why. It's sad and it's funny because all the Southern governors had been warning Biden that we were going to start loading them up on buses and sending them up north. So Biden found out the other day, by the way, in case y'all didn't know this, they have sent like 30,000 to DC just in the last 2 weeks. What they're doing, as soon as they drop them off, the people are waiting for them, and wherever they drop them off in whatever state in the South it is, they put
They
them
should
right back
send
on the
them to
bus and
Biden's
shut them up.
neighborhood.
We're
Biden's
sending them to
neighborhood,
Biden's.
right?
They're sending them to his home state. They're sending them to New York. Any state they're saying that was out there preaching about, oh, you shouldn't cry, they're sending them to them. And guess what? All them states are crying now.
Now you have
when you
more
don't have to
numbers
live with
coming,
it, you
and
can say so.
this is usually when the numbers at the border hit all-time low because it's so hot to travel. And there's a lot of people saying, well, there's groups out there buying them bus tickets and these air-conditioned buses, driving them up to the border. Once they get into Mexico, who's paying for that? Who's the ones? I mean, we know George Soros. These people are making our security unstable, and also the security of Mexico having all these illegal traipse across their country. So there's a lot going on here, and they want open border. We have an open border. This is what they asked for. This is what they want. Now they don't know what to do with it.
What the hell was that? It's
Calling people tacos.
Yeah, but they think that's okay. Just think about it. Jill says all
Because
kinds
in
of
their
stuff like
mind, they
that.
can do no wrong. If you're a lefty, you can do whatever you want and be as hateful, angry, racist. There, I mean, I've heard such the worst stuff in the world come from them, and it's okay because they do it in the name of all is right, all is good as long as I'm doing this. They're justified. And who justified them? That was Hillary, and that was Obama. That was these people back in the day telling these guys how to act and react and giving them the green light. We talked about this a couple years ago. Years ago, they had the green light to go and do what they want to do. And we said things are going to get out of control. Well, things are out of control. But a lot of the big Dems don't want to defund the cops because they see what defunding the cops gets them.
Next week we're gonna include another segment in the show, but we're gonna leave it off of YouTube because I've actually gotten in 3 interesting pieces of information in the last hour, all from reliable sources about something else that's going on. But we can't talk about it here, guys, because we're stuck on YouTube tonight. But we will talk about it next week. I know, isn't that a bitch, man? Yeah, it's called it's stifling free speech, and this isn't free speech. This is stuff that 3 doctors have said just recently, including one of the C2C people, but I ain't going to talk about it here tonight because we'll just get slapped for it. Even though it's coming from a reputable source, it's not going to matter because YouTube hasn't caught
Crappy
up
the
yet.
Clown, he refuses to go on YouTube. He boycotts YouTube. YouTube is, what? One people do, and people are going to, and a lot of people are leaving YouTube, going to Vivo and other stuff. So at some point, YouTube won't be anything anymore.
Eventually.
Same for Facebook.
Like everything else.
Same for Facebook. Most young people don't use Facebook, so it's going to filter out. That's why Zuckerberg's trying to buy everything else up.
So what do you think about what do you think about Steve Bannon's conviction? Is that not like a railroad job?
Contempt of Congress doesn't really have any kind of criminality attached to it. There's no time. There's no real punishment involved. Only what they discover. You remember Obama's gun czar there, Eric Holder, who basically gave guns to the cartels. I mean, and those guns were used to kill American police officers. He was found in contempt of Congress, and they did nothing to him. He was found guilty a couple of times in contempt of Congress. They do nothing. So it's just bullcrap. It's their way of slapping someone's hands. Steve Bannon, you think he gives a crap? He'll go back to his mansion and laugh about it. I don't like the guy
As
anyway.
long as they don't give him no jail time, I don't think he'll
He looks
care.
like
But
he's sickly. He looks like he's got some
he's
problems.
well, he's getting old, man. He's not exactly a youngster anymore. And I see DeSantis just lit into Biden, man. Biden was trying to downplay the forecast for the 2022 election, and he just said, "Oh, really? Let's talk about this." He just ripped into him. It's funny though. I like to always have all these different news networks up, ladies and gentlemen. When Mike and I talking, I'll have all the majors up there. I mean, ABC, NBC, CBS, NSNBC, Fox. We got BBC America, there, BBC World's up there as well. And sometimes I'll throw Sky up, or I'll throw what's the other one? I don't have it up tonight, so I can't think of it. But I like to have it
Al
because when you
Jazeera.
go across, it's no Al Jazeera. What did they change their name
Al,
to?
Al Jazeera.
They went really
They-
conservative. That's what cracked me up. Al Gore sold them, and they went freaking conservative, man. I was like, wow, was that a changeover
If
back
you want
then?
to talk conservative versus liberal, Muslims are the most conservative people you're going to find on the planet. They are not the big. So the liberals kind of, coddle them because of the terrorist thing. But your average Muslim definitely is no terrorist, and they're also family oriented. They have no allegiance to any country, only to their religion and their family. So another group that could very easily be Republicans are Muslims, but Republicans, they play the game of politics against Muslims, and they generalize, because not all, I mean, you can't generalize. You can't say, they're bad because of what they believe. You can say that about any religion, really.
Well, you can't really.
I have
If
a
I
lot,
see
I got
Biden,
friends who are Muslims, real, not this bull crap, the hating on people. I'm just talking about people who are regular old people. It's a religion and is what it is, but they're family oriented. They believe in a family structure, children, no abortions, things like that. If you look at the rules, they're the same. They want the same stuff. So I think that the Republicans, I think the Republicans have a lot to learn, especially getting, changing their party around and getting people in that are more
well, the
regular
Republicans
old
have
people.
really, actually, most people haven't realized it, but the Republicans have changed their party quite a bit. When you get inside of it, you start looking around. Their
Slowly,
average age is no, not now. It's not.
because
Their average
you know
age is
why?
somewhere
Because of Trump.
50,
Because he
51.
motivated people. He motivated them
But
to
it
run.
started before then. It started with the Tea Party. They started bringing in a lot younger people, a lot more women. They brought in more blacks in their party. Now they're bringing in more
And you saw how the
Hispanics.
left, you saw how Obama went after the Tea Party using the IRS to go after them and use and abuse them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then, of course that all backfired on their ass eventually, but it still
Yeah,
took
and what
like
the
4
IRS
years.
do, they destroyed all those hard drives because of those emails. They even took a chisel to them. So
Yeah.
that's destruction of evidence,
So of
the
course you had to
tampering
drop all
evidence
charges
tampering.
against everybody at that point because now you just covered up, so you kind of screwed. It's
Yeah, the
just
guys know how to play the game.
because
They know how to
Biden
play the
because
game.
Obama should have been in jail. They know he should have went to jail for that. That was worse than Watergate. But I see your emperor speaking today. He's saying he looks good and boasting that gas prices have fallen every day this summer for 38 days straight. Does this person ever can tell the truth ever? I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm sick of just. I mean, come on, dude. A
It's
little
gone
truth
down
here
a
and there
penny a
would be
day for
nice.
38 days.
I mean, so well, you're right. So at its height down here, gas was 4.46. In New Orleans, gas is still 4.39. Up here in Mississippi, where I live, it's four. I mean, it's 3.96. Yeah, I'm not seeing where it fell all that much there. Now, let me explain to you, Mr. Biden, Mr. JoJo. When you took office, gas where I live right now was 118 a gallon. It had just come up from 99 cents a gallon. It was 118 a gallon. It never under Trump. It never got above 140 a gallon ever. Yes, and here we are with you, $3 a gallon higher. $3. You know how much money? I mean, because I commute for a living. You know how much money that's added to my commute every week? I mean, come on. If I add it up yearly, it's going to cost me about five, six, seven, eight, almost $9,000 more in gas a year because of Uncle Joe. I was
That's
like, give
it.
me a break, man. All
Well,
because he
it's
didn't
him
want
and the
America to be
Democrats.
oil
It's
independent.
all of them.
Well, it's
They
all
they
of
have
them.
an
I'm not
agenda.
going to argue.
They have when they got in there, that was the agenda, and they said what the agenda was going to be, and that's what they're doing. And they're not saying I'm sorry for it either.
Yes. Oh, here we go. What charges can Trump face? The Capitol has sought out to build a case against President Trump to behave illegally. No, but he didn't do anything illegal, people. You don't have anywhere where Trump said this in his own voice or went and did it. And even if you said he had a fit in the limousine, it doesn't matter because he had a temper, and there's nothing illegal about having a temper tantrum. I don't know what you think you're going to get out of this. And if you try to go after Trump, Democrats, I'm warning you this right now, you will bring the biggest red wave you have ever seen in the history of anything. You will lose the Senate, the House, and you will lose the 2024 election and the House and Senate yet again. This is a dangerous game because after the stuff with Russia, America's really iffy skiffy about Democrats doing any charges with Trump. And since this was only Democrats and the Republicans didn't have anything to say in this investigation, the country's going to be iffy skiffy about this. You just better be careful. I'm telling you, you're gonna wipe yourself out with this. I tried warning them last time when they did with the Russian thing. It was doing damage. I'm oh, no, it's not going to hurt us. Oh, yes, it's going to. America, remembers stupid shit. Unfortunately for them, they just remember stuff like that. And when you lose, they remember it even more. I think that's what hurt the Democrats more. Unfortunately, they have to take the Russian hoax as a loss now. They tried at the beginning; it was a win. They could count as a win. They were making Trump miserable, but now that it's actually happened, and we found out the truth, it's a loss. Now that Durham came out with his report and said what really went on, and that also means that they want to investigate. What was his name? The investigator who was investigating it for the FBI. Remember what was his name? I can't remember his name now. Mueller, yeah. Now they want to investigate him because Durham's saying, well, I don't know how he didn't see any of this. Durham is just like, what the hell? Were you had your eyes closed or something?
Mueller was like a deer in the headlights when in that investigation.
I think he was.
He was so enamored by the megamedia from the media and everybody, going after him and being so nice to him because he wanted Trump to go. And they never, what'd they find?
They didn't find anything. That was the problem. According to them,
they spent tens of millions doing it.
Yeah, they had a good time. They had a vacation. They went and played around. They got to do things, and travel all kind of different places and look at different things. And it was great. It was a great fun, but it didn't prove anything, and it cost the country a bunch of money. And here we are again with another one. But the problem for the Democrats right now is I don't think they can stop from losing the House. I don't think there's anything they can do to stop it.
I think that they're going to lose 28. So the Republicans are going to gain 28. Democrats are going to lose 28. So that's a huge deal.
It is because there's only 7 or 8 difference between 23. Them right now.
They need 23 to be able to have a clean sweep to go through voting for stuff. So, I think they're going to have the Republicans will have a firm hand if that happens, especially if the Senate stays Republican. I don't think Biden's going to make it to election day, man. I feel like
I don't know, but I know the estimates have them getting quite a bit more than that. Anywhere from
everybody wants them to go.
Well, but they do and they don't. See, that's the real. I think that's the real problem right now for the Democrats more than it is for anybody else. Yes, we want Biden to go, but we can't leave Kamala in charge. Do you know how much the country would vote against Democrats if Kamala took over? It would be a nightmare for them. I mean, what did she pull on the primaries? 1%?
So Biden declared a national emergency to help free wrongful detainees. And they're trying to push this for Brittany Griner. Isn't that funny? Brittany Griner.
Yeah, they're not letting Brittany out. He's wasting his time.
She smuggled drugs into Russia. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and wait, the other day he said, well, she's such a good person and didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, whoa. She got busted with drugs. She got
You mean tell me she couldn't find some connect? She couldn't have flown in and found some connection in Russia? Come on, man. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? But she was arrogant. She was part of that woke crap. She's the one, I don't want to sing the American anthem. She was an Olympic athlete saying, I'm not going to sing the anthem. I'm not going to stand for it. I'm going to take a knee. She encouraged other people on the team not to do the anthem. And now here she is in Russia, had smuggled drugs, They're trying to trade some killer, this terrorist for her, and he'll come out and kill again. She's not worth it. She's a criminal. She committed a crime. Maybe in America, okay, yeah, it's hash oil, whatever, man. In Russia, there is no whatever, and they're really against smuggling. So even if she had gone there and bought it on the street
But
and got caught
but
with
let
it,
me ask you
it would be
this,
a
Mike.
whole
If you
different story than
if you were
smuggling
going to travel
drugs.
to a new country, wouldn't you find out, and you knew you were going to bring drugs in, wouldn't you find out what the laws were before you went in the country?
She was
I mean, I
arrogant,
would.
and she was going there to play with the Russians, to play on their team, to work for them,
I wouldn't
make
even bring
money for
drugs
them.
into Canada.
And also, I thought athletes weren't supposed to be taking those drugs, man. There's a whole
They're not. They're
weird
not supposed to
issue
be
going
taken.
on there. If she's that addicted that she can't go without hash oil for a short time, I mean, but whatever. She committed a crime and she's in the right place. You got people like LeBron James who's trying. He has this show that he's trying to push, and it's another just loser of a show, and he's not a very smart guy to begin with. And on top of that, he's outspoken about these ridiculous things that America's turned our backs on her. What are you supposed to do? And where this is the essence of that if you're a certain type of person, you can commit what a crime you want and get away with it because of that liberal guilt. And this is what's going on in America right now. But now she's in Russia. They're not playing around in Russia. They're not playing around, especially now.
No, because
You know,
yeah, and right now is the worst time to get caught is when Russia's in it starting a war and America's sending them
that's
arms.
right.
I mean,
But even if there was no Ukraine, you know that if they caught her with all those drugs coming in, she would be in the same situation.
oh, yeah,
You
she'd be in
know,
trouble, and we wouldn't be looking to get her out. That's the difference. We'd
She's
have just left and said, "Well,
she
you
wants to get
effed
out
up
because
there."
of her privilege. She has privilege. You know what I mean? All these people talking about white
Well,
privilege,
now she
mixed
can live with
privilege.
Seth.
She's got privilege. And so that's why she can send letters to the president. He reads them. That's why she has LeBron James talking about it. That's why she's in the media. If that was me or you, we'd be screwed. You know what I mean? But you or I wouldn't have brought drugs into Russia.
No, because we did. Well, I'd have been like, "Look, I'm not. If I needed them that bad, I'd have found them in Russia." Let's just be honest about it. Then, like I said, I'm not. Even when I was in a service way back in the day, I wouldn't have brought drugs into Mexico, especially knowing I could find them down there. But I wouldn't have brought them in there. I mean, you get caught bringing drugs into any country crossing a border, your ass is in trouble. It doesn't
Even
matter who
even
you
any
are, you're in
state,
trouble.
even any state.
Smuggling, yes, smuggling, yes, smuggling is smuggling. And most Americans are dumb. They don't know that they can get in trouble for bringing cigarettes and beer across state lines. Yeah, people, that's bootlegging, by the way, if you do that. There's actually laws on the books in all 50 states for it. So if you have a notice on the pallet in your pack of cigarettes, there's a stamp, and it's a colored stamp. Well, that's so they know where it came from. Beer is the same
Yeah.
way. So they can actually arrest you or confiscate your beer if you bring it from one state to the next.
Smokey and the
They don't.
Bandit. They were smuggling beer from Texas to Georgia, man. Coors.
It's
Remember that?
Yeah, it's to me,
Eastbound
it's funny.
down.
Some of
Here we
these blue
go.
laws are funny to me.
Eastbound
Like
down. Come on, Joe, let's sing. Loading
it's,
up and trucking. We gonna do this shit can be
no more
done.
drugs with Michael. I'm telling you, we're
We
cutting
got
out
a
drugs.
long way to go and a short time to get there. Watch this bandit run.
Uh,
Oh my
you want to make
god.
a donation? If you want to make, well, I appreciate any donations you make to the station. It helps out. You just go to uprntalkradio.com and there's a donation button on the page.
Is
Yes, and
that
I
because I'm
appreciate
singing,
anything.
man? Do you want me to sing some more songs?
No, they said please stop singing or they won't make the donation. So,
If
so
I
let's
didn't
just not be singing there,
care.
man. Oh Lord. Anyway, getting back to the actual news. If y'all got a special thing, you can send it to me. We're just perusing through all the different news articles that are out there.
Start
Well, like
spreading the
Biden telling us that he's
news.
lowered gas prices by oogles and doogles
We're
of things.
leaving in like
So
45 minutes.
let's go here. Of course, this is everyone's favorite news site. This is MSNBC.
Oh God.
So MSNBC News. Have y'all ever been to MSNBC News? You know, stop sending me stupid shit every send me that. Um, MSNBC. They had people like Rachel Mad Cow Maddow and Joe Broke. What's his name? Oh, Drunken Joe in the morning. Yeah, y'all don't know who he is. Yeah, he gets drunk every morning. Drunken Joe. It's Drunken Joe in the morning and Rachel Mad Cow Maddow. Rachel's actually a better person than I thought she was, but still, And I know she's on her way out because she's really tired of dealing with these people over there. And MSNBC just has a problem with the truth. Uh, so one of the things that's bothering them right now is that Trump is polling higher than, of course, Biden or Bernie Sanders, and it's bothering them because right now, if the election was today, Trump would win with a landslide. In other words, people, MSNBC has realized that America feels like it has made a mistake, and that's never good for the opposing party. All that really means is that yes, there will probably be a major red sweep, and they may even take the Senate in a full take. And if they do now, and then they take everything again in 2024, they'll have complete control over everything. And whoever sent me that link a couple of days ago about the House is going to expand the Supreme Court. Okay, I'll be nice about this because some people are morons and they don't realize this. So, do y'all remember back under Obama, the Democrats needed to cheat? So they changed the rule so some things could be voted on with only a 50-person vote because that's what they had was 50 people. So they changed that rule. Okay, well, they got some things done. Well, guess what happened? The very next election, the Republicans took back the House. Okay, and guess what? And then they took the Senate and they had them for 6 years. And guess what they did for that 6 years? Thanks to that 50-person vote, they ruled. They changed more shit. It would take the Democrats another 50 years to change everything back. And you gave them that. Before that, it would have been 60-person vote. They wouldn't have been able to do any of that, but you gave them. So, what happens if you do add force to the justices to the Supreme Court? First, it's going to take lots of votes and lots of fighting, lots of television. A lot of the country's going to get really mad. Lots of stuff's going to go on. But say you get it done before the next election, and let's say you lose and the Republicans win. What do you think they're going to do? They're either going to remove your 4 justices or add 6 of their own. So then we're going to have what, 19 justices? That kind of stuff never works. I know somebody wrote about term limitations, but term limitations is a tough thing for Supreme Court justices because they're hard to find really good ones. And you can't have a lot of them and you can't have them changing all the time because they really need to understand what it is that's going on in our country. As far as anybody else, though, Senate, the House, they all need to have term limitations. Two times in the Senate and 6 times in the House, and that's it. Then you have to go vote. You have to go be a governor or a local politician or something like that. Because that's 24 years. If you win 2 Senates and then go back and win 6 in the House, that's 24 years. Do you really need any more in 24 years?
They think
I
they
don't
do
know.
because they're lifetime politicians.
Yeah, because they need that money,
Chuck
greedy
Schumer.
bastards.
How long has Chuck Schumer been in there?
I don't think none of the ones you see on TV. I don't think have been in for less than 30 years.
Nancy
Uh,
Pelosi,
or
but
she's
I
been in
mean
longer than
not
that.
just the Democrat side, the Republican side too.
Oh,
Mitch
Republicans
McConnell.
are just as guilty. I mean, look at I was going to say, look at Mitch McConnell. Republicans. It's funny though. If you remember the Republican primary, with the exception of Trump, almost everybody in there was under 50. They had a nice young field. When you looked at the Democrat field, it was just an ancient field. Everybody in that damn field was over 69. It
Tales
was
from
it
the
was
Crypt.
well. At least they put Obama up. He was young people. Yeah, and Bill was
And look
kind
what
of
he
young.
did.
Well, he was
Look
an
what he
idiot,
did.
but he was an idiot, but he was. You know what? It's not fair for me to call Obama an idiot. He wasn't an idiot because he was an idiot. He was an idiot because he listened to his friends and his family and well, not his family, but his friends and the politicians around him. Because here comes a guy who is a community organizer in Chicago. All right, this is a nobody. Okay, community organizer. That's a nobody job. Might be something local, but for the rest of the country, it's nothing. So he comes out of that somehow, wins a Senate seat. Okay, that's pretty good. So
They
he's a
gave it.
junior senator for 6 months when they asked him to run for president. He had
Right.
no experience. So what happened to him is when he got to Washington, the Republicans just tied him up in bullshit because he didn't know how to get out of it. See, Trump at least knew how to fight the game and play the game and get around stuff. Obama didn't have a clue. And then, the first election, the country took the House away from him. The second election where he got reelected, they took the Senate away and they never got it back until the second year of Trump.
Hillary thought she was going to get right in there with Obama, man. You kidding me? She thought she was
No,
going to
that's
get
what they
right
were
in
hoping.
there. And then
Well,
she lost
they
that
were hoping a
primary
lot
to
of
him.
things,
Yeah.
but they
And then when she
really
ran
they
against Trump, She had to rig the
But
election. She rigged an
yeah,
election and still lost it.
yeah, I know. But they had to get Trump out this last time because if they didn't, there'd have been major charges coming against people because he'd have just been on a rampage with the House and the Senate back, finding out that all of that was fake. He'd have been on a rampage, and so that kind of slowed him down. What do you mean, Carly? Is he going to jail? I don't think so.
All Trump has
Uh,
to do now is say, "I told you so." That's all.
That's
You
pretty
know.
much it.
And
I mean, he gets to beat up Europe because everything that's going to be. He predicted the Ukrainian war. He told Russia and all of them do not rely on China and Russia. It's going to bite you in the butt, which it's done now, and then prices are through the roof.
even
Um, he,
Angela Merkel, all those people saying Trump was right.
yeah,
I
Angela
mean, they
has. She's
left
actually
office
come out
even,
and
but
said,
they're saying
"How did
Trump.
she say it?" She said, "I have misjudged Mr. Trump."
Yeah,
He was right. And see, the problem for all the politicians is they get stuck in this status quo. They get this dogmatic view. Well, Trump wasn't a politician, so he broke up the dogmatic view and made people start opening their eyes again and start thinking, I am here to serve the people, and I am here to make change and not just to follow or laugh. Because when Clinton was president and Reagan was president and presidents before them, sometimes the Republicans or the Democrats would side with each other in big numbers. You don't see that anymore. Now it's right down party lines every time. Every vote is down party lines. Well, there is no way you're going to tell me that every Republican or every Democrat feels that way. They're just voting that way because they're being told. So they're not standing up for their citizens. They're just going along with the party vote, which is wrong. The only one, except for Munchkin or Munchin, whatever his name is, I got to give him credit because he stood up and told them go screw themselves, and then he told them go screw themselves on the global deal. He said, I'm not signing that. No, it's not going to happen, which is nice for a couple other people who might want to say something, but they don't have to because he grew a set and stood up and told them, I'm not making the country go into further debt. I'm not making inflation go bigger. We're not going to spend $2 trillion on infrastructure, and we're not going to spend $3 trillion on global whatever. Because he knows what's going on. It's just making Democrat friends rich. Do you know how much money people we spent on electric cars, gave to companies, and solar power under Obama? Do y'all know? Almost $50 billion, and none of it got reclaimed, and all the businesses involved are now bankrupt or defunct. All of them. Same thing Biden was trying to do. Oh, green power, green power. Let's spend a couple billion here, a couple. Well, he learned with his son Hunter that he can get some of that money back. So we're gonna see where this
costs
all
more to
goes with the
charge a
Hunter
damn
Biden.
car. And then when gas prices go down, those electric cars, those prices aren't going to go down. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
and
no,
it
because
costs a
electric.
ton of money.
Oh, now, yeah, they do. They cost a lot of money to build and
They
maintain.
don't
And
last long either. Most people hold on to their car for eight to 10 years in America. You know what I mean? Like not everybody can afford a new car every couple of years. Electric cars don't last. They don't last. They're out the window in a couple of years. It costs more to replace the battery than the whole car.
it's it's these people are trying. They keep trying to say all these witnesses that heard Trump on the hearing, but none of them were in the car. The one guy said, "You're going to put them on the stand? They weren't even in the car. You can't do that. That's hearsay." Um, I know that Maverick Garland guy keeps trying to say it's unsustainable. Trump, Trump, Trump. Some of these people just, I don't know. With Trump, you either hate him or you love him. You either hate him or you
I don't
love
hate
him.
him. I don't love him. I liked his policies, and I think that it was important for him to be the person that he was at the time that we needed him. He rebuilt the military. Otherwise we would be depleted. Obama, his plan was to make us weak and globalize us, which makes us even weaker. That's the plan. That's
Yeah,
their
that's a
plan.
plan.
You know, it's not. They're not going to deviate from that plan. Trump's plan was nationalism, and then they made that into some racist thing. It's not racist to stick up for your own country, to be energy independent, to be food independent, to not rely on anyone else. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's fiscally responsible to be like that. You know what I
Well, in
mean?
America, don't really need to get that much from abroad. It was just cheaper, so that's the way we were doing it. But as a country, I mean, most of our food we can grow local. We don't have to bring in food from outside, and we have fuel. There's some things we
The
need
area
that
I
we
live
do,
in,
but
the
most
area I
of that
live
we
in
can
can
get from.
sustain.
Well, we can get everything else from South America. The United
Yeah.
States does not have to leave the Americas for anything. We just choose to go to
No.
places like China and all Afghanistan because it's cheaper.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. At the
yeah,
end of this year, we're on track for 8 billion people on the planet. And that's India really crossing China by the end of this year, right? So India is also manufacturing. They also make a lot of stuff, and they're the main competitors for these Chinese. So we don't have to deal with the Chinese. The Indian. People from like the country India is friendly with us, but we can't trust them. You've seen them take a hard line with this Russian crap. They get most of their fuel from Russia, so they're not going to cut that umbilical cord. And I understand that, but you can't really rely on them. The only time you rely on India was when they need something, from us.
Oh
Then you
yeah.
negotiate. But it's a mess. It's a mess, from one side to
Well,
the other, and there's no one there to clean it up. They just make more of a mess, and then they have these lofty ideas of socialism, and it's just not realistic because then responsible people are going to have to step to it and be responsible, and the irresponsible are going to say, hey, I want to sit here and do nothing, and you can give me money, and then you have to listen to all my BS, how I'm going to change the world. Yeah, they're not realistic, man. You know.
I know. There's a lot of things that's got to change, and I know Trump can change some of them if he gets in. But my thing for Trump is two reasons I'd like to see him back in office. Not so much to beat up his enemies or anything, but my goal is to see DeSantis as president because currently, right now, amongst the selections we have right now, he's probably the best and probably the easiest win. But the Republicans need some time to reform the country if they're going to truly reform it. So 4 years of Trump getting things set up and giving DeSantis a clean slate coming in like he got in Florida, and he can show you what he can do. And I think we would have 12 years of prosperous in the country. And I think the country might stay red for even longer than that because the country's funny. If it starts running good, and everybody's making money and everything's fine, a lot of times they won't change. And I think the Democrats are going to have a hard time rebranding because they have to. The woke party is not the party the United States wants. They have showed them this over and over. They elected Obama because he was going to change. They went woke. They voted everybody out. You would think they would have learned under Obama. Nope. They come in. I mean, Trump was a direct result of Obama and his policies. That's why Trump got elected. Because people ask me, why did he get in? I said, because of Obama. I said, that's
Well,
why he
you
got
notice
elected.
how with Obama they painted the image, and even his name, Barack Obama. Everybody called him Barry. He went by Barry for years.
Yeah.
And in fact, Obama wasn't even his last name. So, uh,
Yeah.
but they painted the image. It's all the image. That's what they wanted to sell. And he was saying all the right things in the beginning. I think he had a nervous breakdown or an egotistical outbreak a couple months into his administration, and that's when everything went awry. And he didn't do anything he said he was going to do. In fact, he
Well,
started putting people down, putting down America, putting down American workers. People
because
losing
he
their
got
factory
pissed.
jobs, and he was mocking them.
I seen it. I seen it happen. He got pissed doing the Obamacare stuff. So he had this image of what he was going to give America in his head. That's what he had. What America actually got was not the image he got, and of course he got blamed for it, even though Congress is the one that did this shit. I mean, come on, Nancy Pelosi gets on TV and tells everybody, "Well, you just need to read it." What's 5,500 pages? And how did she say? Oh, read it after you vote for it. Well, nobody's
Right.
going to read it after they vote for it. Nobody even knew what the hell was in this thing. I doubt Obama read it. So the problem here is they had a bad policy, and he paid for it. In the end, we all blamed him. That's why he lost the House and the Senate. Everybody's like, you abused your power. This is not what you gave us catastrophic coverage. You didn't give us good health care because if you were poor, you didn't get anything out of Obamacare. All you got is you can pay $160 a month, and if something bad happens to you, you got coverage because your deductible is $6,000 to $7,000. Most people don't have $6,000 to $7,000 laying around to go pay a deductible on, and if they do, they need it for something else, unless they're dying. And I mean, it was just bad. It was a bad choice. The insurance companies get on board, like they said. Now a lot of the states only have one insurance company; they're not even having competition anymore. So you're at
No,
the device. Thank God the Republicans repealed it as a law, or they'd be raping people left and right. It was just a bad
it's a
deal, and he
mess.
he got hung for it, and he didn't know. See, Trump would have walked in the House or Senate and said something. Clinton would have, Reagan would have, Bush, even baby Bush would have went up there and said, "What the hell are you doing? No, you got to change this," because he was a politician. He was a governor for 8 years. He knew the game. Governors actually have. I noticed this. Governors have an easier time as president than other people do. I guess because they've run states and they've kind of got an idea how the game's going to work out. But still, even they have a hard time. But those people I just mentioned wouldn't have tolerated Congress doing that. They would have got involved and said, no, this is what I want. Well, you ain't going to do it like that. Then I'm going to freaking veto it. Okay. This is what I want. And if I'm not going to get it, I'm going to veto it. That's a president. Barack never did that. Barack just, okay, well, when it comes across my desk, I'll be sure to sign it. Obama, you got what you asked for there, my friend. You needed to stand up for yourself in the country, and you didn't. And then he started hanging out with people like Castro. Really? Really? You're going to go fly down and watch a baseball game with Fidel's brother? And then the Republicans are going to bitch about Trump liking leaders. And then Mexican governor didn't like him. Matter of fact, Mexican president didn't like him. Mexico president don't like Biden. He's been touting him out. In case y'all didn't know this, America's getting just bullied right now by the Mexican governor. Mexican president. He is saying some shit about Biden. Any other president would have unleashed on his ass by now, and they'd have been hell to pay. But he and he's a liberal. The guy in charge right now in Mexico's a liberal, and he's still unleashing on Biden. It's sad to see our country get picked on like this. We don't have to. We don't have to put up with anybody giving us any bullshit. It's not. We didn't build the country like this, so we'd have to listen to anybody but ourselves. And
Aside
for
from
some
what you
reason,
and I feel about Biden, it's more about other world leaders knowing how weak we are right now, and we're in a dangerous position.
And that's the real thing. Americans, for some reason, don't understand this. I guess because a lot of them have grown up without any violence in the country. Let me explain something to y'all. Countries like Russia and China are aggressive. If we show enough weakness, they may both get together and jump on us. Right now is an opportune time for Russia and China. If they would attack our military with Biden, I don't know. It would take us a while to get back. We'd probably lose territory over it.
If Trump was
eventually
in there,
we'd get it all back, but no, they wouldn't
the
do
whole
it.
Ukraine thing would have never happened.
Trump showed him in Syria. Yeah, wait, what? Wait, hold on. Hold on. I got a submarine coming. Okay. I got 95 cruise missiles headed your way. Let me know how it goes for you, brother. And then went back to having dinner. I mean, Come on. I mean, really, that was Trump. And see, and Putin knew that, and Xi Jinping knew that, and of course, our good friend in North Korea knew that. And he would have. Trump would have said, "Excuse me, I'll just put nukes on the tips of these and send them into your country. Don't think you're going to get away with doing this shit." And he wanted to go after Russia when they were in with Assad. And he kept, they're like, no, you can't start World War III. You can't do that. You ever read the Bible there, buddy, about the blood of the horse's bridle? No, you can't go after Russia. But, I think Trump knows that China probably doesn't have the guts to use nukes. Putin probably would because of where he is right now, but I don't know if his country is going to allow him to use nukes. Because once you launch a nuke against us, all hell's going to break loose. It doesn't matter even if you can wipe out every silo we got. Them subs are going to get you. And you can try subs, but they're going to get you.
He's already threatened us multiple times. This is a provocation. That's a provocation. We're going to answer with nuclear if there's a provocation. They haven't done anything. They haven't. They won't. At this point,
I tell you what, I will give him credit for this. He finally grew a set and started blowing up American hardware. You seen that, huh? He went after. He told his people to go after all the American hardware.
And, they're looking to give A-10s to Ukraine, man. If they get some of those warthogs, Russia's done.
For some reason, this president is not going to give him anything like that. I don't know why. I mean,
they're training the soldiers to fly the A-10s. The problem is that they can't. They only know how to fly Russian crapola, not American hardware. So, but they're training these guys to fly the A-10s. The A-10s apparently are pretty easy to fly. And also they're very hard to shoot down. They're protected. They even the motors are protected. They can take a lot of shots and still keep flying. And also the gas tanks are protected. But the A-10 Warthog, it's one of my favorite planes. And it has that distinctive sound. It's got that sound that like scares the crap out of people when they hear it, man. That 30 millimeter.
I think I found an article you were talking about. It says Washington, United States is exploring whether it can send U.S.-made fighter jets to the Ukraine. White House spoke about Friday sending more planes and more equipment to the Ukraine to defend against Russia. You heard what Zelensky said. He said there's no need to negotiate anymore with Russia until we punch them in the face and knock them down. and make them think about it. It's just wasting our time. But yet, Russia and the Ukraine, ladies and gentlemen, did cut a deal to let the grain out of the Ukraine.
Yep.
So yeah,
The
it's hard to
black
sometimes to judge
grain,
this shit.
whatever it is. Well, because all these other countries saying we're going to show up with military to escort the grain out, and the black they didn't want their fleet to get destroyed. Obviously,
See,
you know what I mean.
what Putin should have done, right? Putin should have said, okay, he should have called Biden up and said, "Look, I'm going to invade the Ukraine because we have evidence that this is going on. Let me send you the evidence so you know why we're doing this." And he should have said, "This is no more than any police action that you took in the Middle East or any other country like that, where something, like after 9/11 or things like that." And he would have been within this right, and we would have stayed out of it. But he didn't do that. He just jumped over there and started blowing shit up, and the U.S. took offense to it because we're the only ones that are allowed to go around and blow shit up. Y'all don't believe me, guys, because we are
They
the only
lied the
ones
whole
that
way.
blow shit
They
up.
they said that they were massing on the border. It was an exercise. They're not going to attack and all that. It was lie after lie, and then Biden believed them. He believed them. Okay, okay. Oh, it's just war games. Okay, bunch of
Yeah, it's war
idiots.
games, all right. We're gonna blow some stuff up. It's just irritating to see this kind of stuff go on because none of this has to happen this way.
Nope.
Nobody has to act like this. Nobody has to be these little baby children that can't act like they're an adult. None of this. We don't have to live like this. We don't.
You
We
know,
don't need this in our
none,
society.
none of it had to happen. Zelensky didn't have to happen either. I mean, he could have taken actions where nobody would have been killed. But the guy's ego took over again. Now he's in it. He can't go back now after what's been done. There's no going back. But damn, it should never have happened to begin with. 2,000-year-old cities crumbled because of egos. Between these
I
two
see.
idiots.
I see. They got groups out there asking Fauci to step down. It's
Fauci. Fauci said he'll go when Joe goes,
he's
which
yeah, he's
might be
probably
pretty soon.
right. Yeah, well, it might be. Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby loses re-election bid. Goodbye, you dumb bitch. Excuse my lanes. Glad to see you go. I see
Baltimore
Maryland
can't keep
waking up.
anybody in
I
there
see they're
because
getting rid of
they get in. They're criminals. They're dishonest.
yeah. I
They
see they're
steal.
getting rid of the other the one that was running for governor too. They lost a new person, new Democrat. So hey, at least it's changing. And I don't even know how she stayed in office. I don't even know how she didn't have a jail out some of the shit she pulled. Uh,
She played the
uh,
card, man. You know.
let's see. I still don't see how I ain't seen if Bannon's getting jail time or not.
Who?
I was trying to find out if what kind of what was the penalty for the conviction of Bannon today or yesterday, whenever it
Oh,
happened.
they're not going to be. They're going to do anything to him. They slap his hands, and
Oh,
that's going
wait,
to
wait,
be it.
what's going on here? Pence has emerged as the leader of the Trump skeptical Republicans. Oh, look, Pence. I don't know if you can suck up enough to get to run with Trump again. He feels like you let him down. I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't have nothing against you personally, Pence. I'm just not sure where you're going with this. DeSantis lights into the midterm elections about Biden and his morality. Con job expert slam brakes on Biden. Admins claim about electric vehicles. Oh man, because they lie more about electric vehicles. The other day, what's her name? What's the new spokesperson? The doofball it's doofier than the redhead. She comes up and she says, "Well, you can go in and go shopping, and by the time you come out, your car's fully charged." You should have seen the expression of all the media, everybody, CNN, NBC, Fox. It didn't matter who they were. You should have seen their faces when she said this. They were like, "Did you just really say that you can fully charge your electric car while you shop? I mean, you must plan on spending the night and having dinner, getting up and having breakfast." And one guy just looked at her like he was just dumbfounded. I mean, the whole bunch of them were like, it was so bad they just skipped the question and went on. They were like, "This is just," because they couldn't believe she said it. Nobody could believe she said it. And well, last time we checked, it takes, ladies and gentlemen, Mike and I have looked this up a few times. Depending on the make and model of car and what kind of charger is being used, 9 to 22 hours. Yes, 9 to 22 hours is what it takes. Ooh, I'm up here, I'm all sexy by myself. Ooh, yeah. Hey, ladies, how y'all doing out there tonight? Sorry. It's just sad that every time you go listen to any of their administration, it's a lie. You know, it comes a point where we just need to stop tolerating lies. It doesn't matter what party it is. We just need to get past the lies and say no, thank you, but no, thank you, no more lies. Shit, I really think we should come up with some kind of device you can put on their chest and it tells you if they're lying or telling the truth. Well, whoever wrote that, when it comes to politicians, I honestly have no idea. Lying, not lying, telling the truth, not telling the truth. It's hard to even tell anymore. And a lot of them I don't care. Yeah, a lot of them I just don't care. But anyway, while we're waiting, Mike got lost. Um, Expert slam Pete Butterbutt. I'm sorry, y'all know his real name. He made outrageous completely false statements on an electric car, saying that they were very cheap. An electric car could charge in less than an hour, fully charged. Yet, okay, maybe if it was like 89% charge at the time. Uh, Berberg was told the Sherry Bold American Cars that he could get a reliable electric truck for $26,000. Okay. First off, how can I be polite about this? And oh wait, you can get the Ford Lightning for $39,000. Okay, first off, to get a fully loaded Ford pickup truck, gas pickup truck, you're gonna pay right now probably around 50. It would have been around 42, 44, but it's probably around 50 now. This is an electric truck. I can tell you it's gonna be more expensive than the gas truck. So probably more around 60. Um, a Chevy pickup for $26,000. You might get stripped down, nothing in it, gas pickup truck for 20, like a work model. But you're not getting a good one. It's gonna be a good one's gonna cost you 40 grand. Well, I don't look. People just come up and make these stories up. You just gotta go. I mean, come on, this guy's in charge of transportation, and he's just sitting there lying outright. And why isn't he not in trouble for all the transportation problems we're having in the country right now? It's something else I don't understand. It just drives me crazy. Actually, Jack, we only got a few more that we're going to go through, and we're going to get out of here. Yeah. No. Anyway. No, we might cross it if we got time, but we're really running out of time fast. Let's see. No, I agree. Whoever wrote that a little while ago. Well, no, President, I guarantee you, he's not the first president to get pissed and have a hissy fit because he lost. I can guarantee you that. He's just the first one that ever got checked on it and talked about it because the Democrats are desperate. Right now, they're desperate. They need anything. I mean, anything. Any win is a good win for them. But they just can't seem to get any win. Thank you, Marty, for that. That is war in Ukraine. Troops destroy entire Russian artillery division. Wait, we got to read this more. Hiding in the woods. They destroyed the whole thing, and they also destroyed some of their ammo dumps as well. I got to give Lazinski credit. His little army is really putting up a fight. Um, oh, yeah, if we sent them our army, that's not the same thing. Yeah, our army would roll over Russia like it was not even standing there. No, really. I mean, it would be like they weren't even standing. It just would be a wash. Sorry, as I answered something, I'm being bad answering something while I'm talking. Yeah, no, America couldn't get involved in that because Russia would have to use nukes against us. They wouldn't have a choice. Our military is much more powerful than anything they faced since World War II. It would be such an embarrassment. The way if you when you watch what happened in Desert Storm, that's what would happen in Russia. We'd have air superiority in less than 6 days, ground superiority in less than a month. Russian people, they're giving up now for Lazinski. Think about a pound that we'd be putting on them. And you got to remember, since if they got into it with us, that means they got into it with all of Europe because they're allies. It's all part of the protection, and then of course there's NATO. So you're not facing one country; you're facing about 50, and all the military coming in from all these different directions. They couldn't even defend their own border because it's so big. Yeah, it would be. They would have to use nukes. They wouldn't have a chance, a choice. Yeah, they would probably use one or two just to stop the war and bring it into check. It'd be cool. I got a lot of pictures on the James Webb Telescope. I haven't had a chance to look through them all yet. I have looked through quite a few. There have been a lot of interesting ones. There's been a lot of fun found, a lot of nice, funny things found as well. Uh, you mean the ratings? You know, you mean what? Are you talking about the January 6th ratings? I don't know. I wouldn't believe too much about the ratings. I'd wait until you see them come out. I know most of the viewings were low; they weren't high. They weren't like 20 million viewers or anything like that. No, and you got to remember, it's 300 million, 350, 300, what, 350 million Americans. Even if they can get about 20 million across all the networks, and we're talking all the networks, that would be ABC, CBS, NBC, PBS, CNN, NSNBC. That comes out to roughly about what 4,000, 4 million a network. That's nothing for a network. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's more bullshit. And 20 million Americans, that's not even the base of the Liberal Party. Think about it. 20 million out of 350 million. But they want you to make it sound like now if one station had 20 million, that would be different. Oh, yeah. hmm That's just one of those things. It's yeah, there's a lot of BS going on, so keep that in mind. But if I remember right, it was right around the best night, which I think was last night, was around 20 million, and because it was the last night, it was the night where they had to prove it or not prove it, in which I don't think they actually proved it because I don't think I haven't heard anything but from anybody important. Yeah, it's what is it? One, two, three, four, five, six networks. So it's not even 4 million. It's about 3.5 million a network. But yeah, it's huge. Okay, well, NBC, CNN, CBS, NBC, CBS, and ABC all have the same viewers. It's just liberal viewers. It's nobody else. There's no conservatives or independents or anybody who's going to be voting in this 2022 election or not watching those channels. I can pretty much guarantee you that. And out of the 100 million voting Americans, 80 million of them didn't watch it. Think about it. Yeah. They want to tout it how big it was, but 80 million voters didn't watch it. So how important is it really? Oh, it's not to the rest of the country because everybody looks at it the same way, like it's just another Russian hoax. If there would have been bipartisanship on this, it would be different. But there's not. Just all one side. Even a couple of judges said some of the convictions are going to be overturned because it was all one sided. There was no two sides to this. Uh, anyway, I gotta get out of here in a little while. I know Mike had some computer problems. He just wrote to me a few minutes ago. Uh, we got. You mean California? California. There's nothing goes on in California doesn't surprise me. Nothing. Nothing at all. I'm more interested. Well, California's on its way out. Its political power is going down. It's been a while since there's been a California governor in office that has taken the White House. It's been a while since they've even had a good governor. The same thing with New York. Um, Como might have been able to save, but he got himself in trouble. He couldn't keep his wiki dry, so he got himself in trouble with that. They just have a hard time. I mean, Ron DeSantis right now is tough. I mean, he's giving away money in his state. His state's doing well. It's growing. It's prospering. He's not taking any bullshit off of anybody. He told Disney to straighten up or get out. He said, but you're not going to, tell people they have to be gay. He almost sued Disney over because Disney wanted to make 1/3 of their staff gay, and he said that is hiring discrimination. You can't hire somebody based on their sex. So whoever this woman is in charge, well, both her kids are gay. Yeah, whoever wrote that, no, both her kids are gay. Says the woman's a little messed up. What do you mean that all gay people come from messed up families? No, that's not true. But a lot of gay men come from domineering women families. Yes, that is true. You can look that up for yourself. Sorry to say, but it is true. I don't know. I didn't. I had a very domineering mother, but I had also a very domineering father in a good way. I mean, they weren't mean or anything. Anyway, we got to get out of here. I can't keep reading and pay attention to what I'm doing. It's there's a lot of stories out there to keep track of right now. You're going to see a lot more polling going on. The Democrats are going to do everything they can. I will bet you $100 that you see the liberal polling, like ABC, CBS. I'll bet you you'll start seeing their numbers try to go up, even though everything else is going to show Biden's numbers in the tank and the Democrats in the tank. They're going to try to say, "Oh, it's like 40%." Remember, they were saying CNN and NBC were saying that Biden had a 41% approval rating when everybody else said it was 36. And then when it was 33, they were still trying to say it was 40. There is no honesty in those two networks at all. ABC and CBS every now and then straighten out, but for the most part, they're pretty bad themselves. But those CNN and NBC just don't care, or NSNBC, they just don't care. A lie's a lie. What do they care? Remember, cable news doesn't have to tell the truth. Y'all didn't know that, did you? So network news does. So if you're like watching the midday news, they're supposed to be telling you the truth. They're not supposed to be taking a side, just like the national news. They're not supposed to. But cable news is not like that. Cable news is entertainment. So they can say pretty much whatever the hell they want to. That's why they get away with some of the stuff that they do. Oh, wait. Hey, wait. Here's one for you. Where'd this come from? Oh, this is some liberal leaning paper. Midterm race tightens a statistical dead heat between Republicans and Democrats. And where is this at? I mean, that's what I'm saying. That is, and every poll out there says that's not true, but here we are. But that goes right back to my point. Democrats don't care, and they'll say it, and later on they'll say, "Oh well, we didn't know, we were wrong." Yeah, I don't know, but it gets old. It does. It gets old with both parties. I don't care even what party it is. It just gets old after a while. Uh, yeah, I'm just, it's just an old. We need truth. We need honesty. Yeah. Well, the thing about polling is it's all about what site you go to. Yeah, it is all about what site you go to. Each poll is going to have a different thing. So, here's I'm looking at a list of polls. I'll go through them real quick with you. So, the RCPA average poll. So, for July 20th, Republicans are ahead of Democrats by 4 points. The Rasmussen reports Republicans are ahead of Democrats by 10 points. Fox has them ahead by 4 points. Economist YouGov has them at, they have the Democrats ahead by 1 point. Politico, okay, y'all know who Politico is, right? Politico has a did heat. Yeah, so that right there tells you it's a lie because Politico is one of the biggest lie places I've ever seen. Uh, CNBC has Republicans ahead by 5 points. New York Times has Republicans ahead by 4 points. Insider Advantage has Republicans ahead by 8 points. Harvard Harris has Republicans and Democrats in a dead heat. Harvard is very liberal. Uh, Monmouth Poll has Republicans up by 4 points. Um, so only two of these were even tied. All the others were they were. See, that's what I'm saying. It's they can't help themselves. They think if they say enough lies that people will believe it. But the problem for them is they're only saying lies to the people who already believe it. That's what hurts them. They're just telling the people that already believe this crap. The rest of us are like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. What do you mean the odds of the Republicans taking House? If you go watch the Vegas odds, they have the Republicans winning the House and probably winning winning the Senate as well by at least one vote. Yeah, that's what they're going with. So you can go bet on it. Well, I, you can bet on other countries' elections. I don't know if you can bet on ours, but I think other people can bet on ours. Yes. But anyway, I got to get out of here. We've already ran past our time. I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight, who tuned in. Remember, guys, we're here every week. Any moans, groans, bitches, or gripe, you can write to Michelle DeRoche about. Um, or you mean stuff. If anything you want to send to me, you can send to me at iCarCox.net. Any news or things, particular articles you'd like to see or hear next week, you can write to me about. And I've been working with a friend of mine, and actually two friends of mine. We're going to start putting on some, conferences, I guess will be the best way to call them. So we're going to be asking for people's opinions on things and people that might want to get involved. But these are going to be really in the deep south for now. We may do some later on, but the ones we're talking about right now will be in the South itself. Nowhere higher than somewhere like Atlanta. But these will be more like the first two or three will probably be on the Gulf Coast, somewhere between New Orleans and say Jackson or St. Augustine, Florida. So keep an eye out for them. We'll be announcing them when they go on. Y'all can get involved. We're looking for people to get involved. The very first one we're going to do a smaller one. But also for speakers, if you get any ideas for speakers, we'll take speakers for paranormal stuff, ufology stuff. We want to really keep mostly, as far as ufology stuff goes, we really want to keep more to people who have had contact. I mean, we'll probably do a section on UFOs and yaps, but yeah, UAPs. But really and truly, we want to keep more to the contact people and that stuff. But as far as the paranormal stuff goes, we will offer a paranormal venue with some speakers as well. Hey, hey, if y'all hear something thump, that was my wife. Okay, she just ate my cake while I was live on the air. Uh, people, it is rough. You try to do the right thing. You're doing your radio show. Your wife comes by eating your cake. Whoever sent me that, oh, that was great. I know it's a bitch, man. It really is. It's part of the end of the world scenario. But again, I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight. And if you want to get involved and help us in any way, again, write to me at iCarCox.net. Uh, Jennifer, Janine. Okay, Janine. Hey, Janine, I know you're writing in from New York because I just seen the thing on the bottom of the thing. We're always looking for hosts. We have free spots, we have paid slots, and we have advertiser slots. Oh, that all depends on how good you are, how many listeners and followers you got, whether you get a free slot or a paid slot or an advertiser slot. To get an advertiser slot, you really have to have an audience of a 500,000 or more, because they're really not going to look at anything smaller than that. Free slots or just slots that we have floating around that really don't have a large listening thing, and paid slots go into good slots, good areas where there's a good listening group. Mm-hmm. And you get a lot of other advantages of paid slots too that you don't on anything else. But anyway, I got to get out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Centralist. I think Jay's back with us next week. I think he come and host with us. Oh, we are looking, by the way, for a female host for this show. Somebody's politics in the middle. You can't be scared to voice your opinion. You need to be knowledgeable in politics. And you got to be able to hang out with me and Michael and Jay. So no, we just want to bring in a female. We've always kept at least one female or two on our political shows. This one just doesn't happen to have one, so we'd like to add one into the fray. On that note, again, I want to tell everyone good night and thank you for tuning in to United Public Radio and the Centralist. And I'm Joe Montaldo, and I will see y'all Wednesday. Good night, everyone.